Hey guys, it's your boy CP3 EP, and we are here to talk about Arch Manning. He is sitting on the bench at the University of Texas, and that was probably not what he intended to happen when he signed with the Longhorns. A few years before, Quinn Ewers was one of the top high school quarterbacks to come out in a long time. He is entrenched as the Longhorn quarterback. Arch Manning will not be playing anytime soon. So in our world here, if we were Arch Manning, we would transfer. So let's go over some of the options. TCU, Auburn, Iowa, OSU, Washington, Michigan would be nice. Oklahoma, can you imagine if he went to Oklahoma? Clemson, Ohio State. But Arch Manning has decided to choose the University of Oklahoma. He is now an Oklahoma Sooner. Here's Arch's first game starting for Oklahoma. Let's see what he has in store for FCS East, probably the worst of the FCS schools.
Line gets set, first down. Now on second down. Quarterback making adjustments with his
It's open, and he does. Touchdown Sooners. So Arch Manning's first touchdown as an Oklahoma Sooner. Got Burks, he comes up with it.
Third down conversions are a
Screen
huge stat, and this one
favorite
would be a doozy if they
of
can pull it
Road
off.
Second one, Sooners. Arch Manning hasn't had to do much, but his completion percentage is 100%.
The tight end.
Touchdown Sooners. Manning threads the needle. 2 touchdowns, 80 passing yards for Arch Manning so far. Wide receiver screen. Burks. The line is blocking well, but again, this is an FCS school. Anderson over the middle. And Tatum right there. And finds him. McIntyre gets free.
Find my playmakers, make quick
And
decisions.
that's a big run by Oklahoma. Calls an audible or a hot route.
Quarterback will audible.
Anderson coming across the middle.
He's just one step ahead of his counterpart across
Wide
the field.
receiver
That's not
screen.
it. Right now, this offensive line.
McIntyre with a touchdown catch. I believe he is the starter for the Sooners. Solid truck.
Here come the Sooners
run.
ready to go on offense. This
And
has
he's
been
going.
exactly the way you draw things up,
20,
David.
the
The
10, the
offense has
5.
really been
Touchdown,
moving.
Sawchuck
Fight for yards.
for Oklahoma.
They can convert here. That type of play can really give you a
Well,
shot
that
of
is a
momentum.
pick thrown by Arch Manning.
Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Fires
And he
it.
misses the
Now it's
tackle.
picked off. Bringing it back.
Vic Yeldon runs it back for an FCS touchdown.
And the Sooners headed quickly to the line.
It's so
Now
nice as a
Gibson,
quarterback when you've got a
the
guy like that.
freshman.
Your defense has a lot of different guys can touch the football in a variety
And that
of
one
ways.
is going to
but
be an
they've been running
Oklahoma
it very, very
touchdown
well.
on the run by the backup halfback.
Quarterback checking the play.
Pass complete to number 4.
On third down,
To number
he'll try to
1,
pick it up through the
Gibson.
air.
Pass to
Moving
the
the
tight
running back,
end
trying to get the D to
for
tip its
Oklahoma.
hand. The tempo.
And a touchdown
Quarterback lost
Sooners.
it to that last drive, just carved him up in the air.
Nice throw to the
How about
tight
that
end.
quarterback?
First and goal.
Touchdown Arch on the run. Oklahoma goes on to beat FCS East 66-16. Led by Arch Manning, 6 touchdowns, 5 through the air, and 1 on the ground. So here goes Arch Manning's second start as an Oklahoma Sooner. The Sooners are ranked 24th in the nation. They will face the number 1 ranked Michigan Wolverines.
Quarterback making adjustments at what the defense is showing. Dropping back,
That
it's Manning.
was a terrible pass by Manning. McIntyre on the catch.
3rd and 5.
Gibson with the catch. And he throws it to his tight end for an Oklahoma Sooners touchdown. Pass to Burks.
Dropping downs here.
Anderson.
He's picked up some positive yards.
McIntyre, the tight end.
Let's see what the third down call is.
Pass to
Dropping back
starting
to the throw
tight
for the
end.
first down.
The RPO.
It's the senior
I
getting
literally
home with the
stepped
sack.
back
So a
one
timeout is called
step
to talk strategy
and
in
through,
time for one or two more
and I was
plays before
already
halftime.
sacked. Nice
Working
pass
downfield.
to
It's Manning.
McIntyre, I believe. Sawchuk runs for the Sooner first down.
A tackle for a loss. Throw the offense out of
The RPO,
to try to come up with
Sawchuk.
that.
Nice leap.
Play.
Get it to Nick Anderson. McIntyre, the tight end, gets open. The sack by Michigan.
Makes me think Baden Hutchinson,
Kearney
of course, played here
with the
recently.
catch.
Going back to
It's Manning.
Pass
Can't hold on.
incomplete
Good
to
defensive
the
play
tight
brings
end,
up a full.
and Oklahoma does not make the field goal. The play action pass to Helms, the backup tight end. It's the ball to Burks.
From the shotgun.
your receiver, stay ahead of the sticks.
McIntyre with the catch.
Dropping back. And a throw for the
That
first down.
is
Tight end makes
Boomer
it back.
Soon
Touchdown.
right there. McIntyre. Michigan again ties game up. It is all 28s.
Quarterback looking to connect with the
Interception.
receiver here.
His first read was taken, so he went to the second read. So Michigan is able to kick a field goal to go up 31-28.
Now for this defense.
Gibson
Second
across
down,
the
we're gonna
middle,
throw it.
man to man.
The offense with
Looks
some
like.
pre-snap motion.
Oh my gosh, you have
Off
to
the
be
play
kidding me.
fake on first down. And now the ball comes out. A disastrous play. To
Nice
throw. It's Manning.
catch.
Quarterback changing the play now at the line.
Gibson with the catch. 2:48 left in the fourth.
But with this quarterback, he's as gifted as anybody
Gibson
in the
with the
country.
catch.
You never
On the
count
run,
these guys
he
out.
gets out of bounds with 2:41 left in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma down by 10. Nice pass by Arch Manning for an Oklahoma touchdown. Arch with 326 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a costly fumble. So Oklahoma loses this game. Alex Borgi, 256 yards passing and 3 touchdowns to outduel Arch Manning, 326 yards passing, 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. That fumble, of course, was extremely costly. The rushing didn't help, with Sawchuk should average 6 yards per carry, and he only averaged 3.3 yards per carry and had 2 touchdowns. Cade McIntyre had a huge game for the Sooners. Jaden Gibson, Deion Burks. So Michigan rubs out Oklahoma 38-34. And now they will face Temple, a little bit easier opponent. Sawchuk in the backfield, Manning in the pistol. Sawchuk picks up about 5 yards. And Oklahoma picks up a first down. Offensive coordinator has called 5 or 6 straight run plays, not putting it in Arch's hands, that's for sure.
Get in the backfield right away and mess up those pullers actions on those
That's maybe
counter
why.
plays. It can be really advantageous.
And it's picked off.
That is a pick 6 right there.
Singular instance, I'll say this.
Wide receiver screen picks up about 9 yards. 3rd and 1, jet touch pass.
This offense looking at
Goes for about 5 yards. Pass to wide receiver number 6, one of their top receivers for Oklahoma. And he gets another Sooner first down. 7-yard gain by Sawchuk. That pass intended for 19. Nice pass by Arch. Sawchuk gets a huge gain. 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Oklahoma, Sawchuk with another big run. Sawchuk down to the 5-yard line.
after run,
Play action. Touchdown Sooners. Oklahoma is about to tie this game up.
A little pre-snap eye candy for the defense.
That ball is taken down the sidelines for a huge gain. Arch on the quarterback draw gets the first down. Pass to the tight end. He picks up about 20 yards.
They'll try to open this quarter by sticking it in the end zone
Touchdown, Oklahoma. Sawchuck makes his way into the end zone.
Back-to-back TDs.
Dropping back,
Jailbreak screen, picks up quite a few yards.
Down, but they just want to get this guy lathered up and get him into a run.
Arch picks up the first down on the keeper. Sawchuck, the blocking just exemplary. Gets down to about the Temple 6-yard line.
Defense knocking on the door.
Gibson gets in for the Oklahoma touchdown.
Like I have to balance all of those things. My defense is
Nice wide receiver screen. 8 minutes left in the first or second quarter. About a 4-yard gain right there. Oklahoma continues to run the ball with Sawchuck.
Handoff to the lone back.
Sluggo.
He wants to throw.
Oh, the first down, Oklahoma.
Picks up the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set
Really
of
great
downs.
blocking. Sawchuck back in the game. Oklahoma up
They'll snap it from
21-17.
the second down.
Nice jet touch pass.
Quarterback checking off.
McIntyre gets open. Tight end.
Looking
McIntyre
to
is
throw, it's
open
Manning.
for an Oklahoma
Fires in the end zone.
touchdown. Put Oklahoma up 28-17. Tight
On the
end
gun, one.
cleared it out for him, and he
Fires
got
to the
open.
tight end.
Run game, be physical, and not let this guy beat him.
Grab
2-minute
over the middle.
warning.
It's in.
That
He's
was a
looking
bullet
to
pass
throw.
by Arch Manning.
Fires half dozen plays on this drive. Back to the air one
1:33
more
left.
time. Third and
Oklahoma
long, and he'll try to throw for
Gets
it.
in for another
It's
touchdown
complete on the right side.
on the pass from Arch Manning.
Opportunity to get their win.
Nice quarterback draw.
Played
Arch
work
gets
and
enough for the
execution
first
there.
down.
Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs.
Sawchuck picks up about
Takes the
15.
handoff line.
McIntyre is open.
A long way to the sticks from here.
The slip screen.
On third down,
Sawchuck
he drops
gets
the
more
throw.
than enough for
Got it set up on the
another
outside.
Oklahoma first down.
Let those guys get up the field, throw it right behind him. He does a
Yeah,
little bit
second
of rest,
read
making some
right there.
moves, getting
He
upfield,
picks
making
him
the
up
big play.
for another Sooner touchdown.
Under the line in the hurry up. Ever since they invented the forward pass, the
Keep the
That
BA
drag route's
bubbles
gonna come.
on the short side of the
he'll
field,
come
but
out
that's
throwing
what
on
they
first
call it.
down.
That ball is
They'll try
caught
to
by
pick up
number
the first
6.
through the air. He's looking to throw.
Nice pass
Shoots
by
it to the
Arch.
left from the 26, but they'd love to convert this third and long. The air on second down.
Jet touch pass. And
Receiver
for
on
a
the move gets the
touchdown.
touchdown. Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing.
Arch
They've got
Manning
it at the- he
oddly
just keeps
celebrating
piling up
1,000
numbers
yards
with
passing
completion
on
after
the season,
completion.
or
Some
maybe
people
EA
might say
Sports
late in the
oddly
game, you got the
celebrating
win,
for him.
Everything's in hand. Be a little.
To the air on first down.
That's our tight end
He's got
right
it on
there
the move.
for another Sooner touchdown.
To find a way to stop this guy when he's got a head of steam. He's
Sawchuck
hard to bring down.
with yet another Sooners touchdown.
Speed, the vision, his ability to break tackles. Well over
That
100
is
rushing yards in this
Arch
game, and
Manning's
that's why they have a
8th
nice
touchdown. That, my friends, is just another Sooner touchdown. So that's the game. 433 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception by Arch Manning. Arch Manning and the Sooners take on the Fresno State Bulldogs at home. We'll see if the Sooners can go to 3-1 today after their victory over Temple last week. Fresno State is winless on the season, 0-3. Better team than their record indicates, though. Nice pass from Arch Manning. Once again, EA Sports celebrates. Nice pass. Burks over the middle. Arch Manning thought that guy was going to be open on the slant pass, and he got locked up with the middle linebacker. Oklahoma up 3-0 down at their own 7 or 6 yard line, it looks like. Screenplay. One player was not picked up for Fresno State, and he got the tackle. So Oklahoma back with the ball. Sawchuk with a big run, about a 20-yard run. Nice blocking, huge hole for Sawchuk, and he gets yet another Sooners first down. Nice catch by Burks. Nice run after the catch. Ball tip. Arch Manning is 6'4", and that ball is tipped more than any quarterback I've ever seen. Like he hits his lineman in the back of the head for some reason. So Arch runs for that first down, gets a couple yards on the play. Manning takes it in for a rushing touchdown. Not something Manning is known for, but he takes it in on the read option. Oklahoma 10-0 over Fresno State at the start of the second quarter. So Arch Manning misses his receiver on that play. So the play action and no way to throw it. It had no time. No matter what kind of line you have, they don't usually give you much time. Incomplete pass. That pass was on point and he drops it. Sawchuk finds a huge hole on the left side. Gets another Oklahoma first down. The pass to our tight end. Finally, 3rd and goal, and Sawchuk runs it in for another Oklahoma touchdown. 2nd and 10. Exact same play on the play action. The second I was able to throw, I threw it, and he was hit. Fresno State scores a touchdown before half, 17-7 Oklahoma. Nice catch by our tight end. Nice slant, man-to-man, wide open. Sluggo. Oklahoma gets 9 yards on the pass. First down, Sooners. Nice look by Manning to number 4, Anderson. And that, my friends, is just another Sooner touchdown. Arch Manning throws his first touchdown of the game, 190 yards passing. Perfect pass to Cade McIntyre. Timeout, Oklahoma with 6 seconds left. See if they can kick a field goal, and they do. So we're just out of halftime. Oklahoma with the ball at their own 32. The handoff. It's up a tough 3 yards. Nice play. Nice pass by Arch. Nice pass. A nice run by Gibson. Nice play by the wide receiver to bounce off the first hit, but they will be forced to try to kick a field goal, and they do not make it. On the screen to Sawchuk, he picks up more than enough yards for an Oklahoma first down. Touchdown, Sooners. And that, my friends, is just another Oklahoma touchdown. Nice catch by 4. Gibson takes it after a short pass and turns it into a huge gain for the Sooners, who are up 33-14 at the end of the third quarter. Jailbreak screen. Arch didn't give that probably quite enough time for it to open up, but they are in the red zone and they do have a first down. Gibson with the touchdown. Nice flip. I mean, I guess he didn't mean to flip, but really good tackle, I guess, for Fresno State. But it doesn't stop Gibson from getting in. And that, my friends, is just another Oklahoma touchdown. Fresno State is keeping it somewhat close. That Oklahoma receiver was knocked out. How can you not love a play called Sluggo, especially when it works like that? First down, Oklahoma. Cade McIntyre picks up the first down for the Sooners. So as Arch goes to throw it, he is lit up. That's a hold on Arch Manning. Pick 6 for Maverick Rouse, who has a 6-pack like nobody's business. That is the game finally. 46-34. Fresno State scores again to make it look a lot closer than it was. Arch Manning 451 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Chuck 35 carries, 113 yards, 3.2 yards per carry. That is paltry. McIntyre with 15 catches, 136 yards, and 2 TDs. Jaden Gibson, the slot, 9 catches, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown. That close of a win does not look good to the pollsters, that's for sure, especially against a winless Fresno State team. Small bump. I studied hard for that quiz, and favorite activated. Looking to upgrade Arch, and he only has 5 points, if you will. Says I'm unprepared. I have an exam in 3 weeks. I have a 3.6 GPA. The Sooners pop into the top 25 at 24. So this is the game that everybody's been waiting for. The Red River rivalry between number 19 Oklahoma, number 22 Texas. Arch Manning's old school. I'm going to purchase IQ, which is awareness, play action, and carrying before the Texas game. Hopefully it helps with the play action, which I usually get sacked on right after the play action takes place. And Manning went from an 87 to an 89, so that's good. Texas is better than Oklahoma. They are 90 overall to Oklahoma's 88. We'll see how it pans out. There are the Longhorns, Arch's old team. Here comes Arch with his new Oklahoma Sooners, taking place at the State Fair of Texas. Texas picks up a field goal to go up 3-0. Sawchuk in the backfield. Nice move by Sawchuk to pick up 5. Gibson is open, and the senior gets an Oklahoma first down. Backup tailback Taylor Tatum picks up another Oklahoma first down. Tight end attack goes to McIntyre for the Oklahoma first down. Gibson is just short. That should be an Oklahoma field goal at least, and it's not. I can't believe that. Somehow Oklahoma gets the ball back with 7:35 left at Texas's 20-yard line. Tatum with the catch down to the Texas 5-yard line. McIntyre, the tight end, in for an Oklahoma touchdown. And that, my friends, is just another Sooner touchdown. Texas does not score, so the score remains Oklahoma 7, Texas 3. That has become a go-to play for Arch Manning and McIntyre. Gibson is just short of the first down. McIntyre drops that. He was put in a compromising situation, that's for sure. Oklahoma makes the field goal this time, so at the end of the first quarter, it is 10-6. Yet touch pass. There we go. That's the kind of routes that our receivers should take. Anderson is open for an Oklahoma first down. Game 10-6, but Oklahoma is driving. Sawchuk finds a hole. Wide receiver screen on 3rd and 11. 4th and 2. Hopefully Oklahoma makes this 3. And they do not make the field goal, but they somehow get a safety. One thing that I've noticed early is that the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma loves to establish the run. Kearney caught it, but 2 yards short of the first down, so Oklahoma will have to punt. Defense is playing very well. Cade McIntyre comes through for Arch. It's down to the Texas 20-yard line. Sawchuk with the run, and a nice run at that. It's down to the 5-yard line. Sawchuk dives in for an Oklahoma touchdown, and that, my friends, is just another Sooner touchdown. Texas, of course, scores immediately to make it 19-13. Oh, interception. You gotta be kidding me. Texas goes up 20-19. McIntyre always does well on that play. Nice catch for Oklahoma first down. Kearney first down, Oklahoma. Timeout, Oklahoma. Arch calls it. Touchdown Sooners with no time left on the clock. They get it to Gibson. 26-20 at halftime. Oklahoma will get the ball. Nice pass by Manning. McIntyre always comes up big. Drops it. You got to come up with a field goal right here, Oklahoma. And they do. And the defense makes a huge stop. Nice catch and first down. All the wide receivers and tight ends for Oklahoma are coming up big, as is Arch. Kearney. So Arch runs that. They are going to want us to go for it. That is another Oklahoma first down. That was a gutsy call by the head coach. Touchdown Sooners. And that, my friends, is just another Sooner touchdown. So the 2-point conversion is no good. Wide open down the seam right there. Boom. Nice run by Arch. Yes, good look. That was the second read. This has got to be tough on Texas fans. The game is not over by any stretch at 42-20. Line gave me just enough time. Got to do short routes with the line not being able to keep the blitzers out. I literally have a second to 2 seconds. Top second goal, Sawchuk just run straight ahead, and Sawchuk gets in for an Oklahoma touchdown. Somehow Oklahoma gets it on Texas's 15-yard line, and Sawchuk runs it in for another Oklahoma touchdown. It is now 55-20. So Oklahoma is going to come away with a huge victory. Arch Manning, the Discover Player of the Game. Not sponsored, of course. So it's freezing in my house, so I'm wearing everything I have. Makes for a great fall night, as Ole Miss, number 15, will play number 13, Oklahoma, and Arch Manning. I do have my 1-year-old son with me. He can't sleep, so what better time to play Sooner football? Kearney on the catch for Oklahoma to pick up a first down. Burks with the catch, and he goes all the way for an Oklahoma touchdown. That's Cade McIntyre, the tight end. Nice look over the middle. Is that Cade McIntyre again? 3rd and 9 quarterback draw is what our offensive coordinator called. So I have to get out of that play, obviously. Go with the screen. 4th and inches. Are you kidding me? They better make this field goal. Somehow they scored a touchdown. That's our tight end, 19. Cade McIntyre, the sophomore. Almost sacked again, but just got the ball to Gibson. Oh, just got rid of it before I got lit up. 3:10 left in the second quarter, 21-3. Sawchuk gets the ball, and on his first good carry of the game that I remember, he picks up about 15 yards. That's the McIntyre. When Manny needs a first down, he goes to his tight end. 3rd and 2. They're calling a jet touch pass. Let's see if we can even get 2 yards on this. And we do. Gibson, get in there. Touchdown, Sooners. 56 seconds left before half. Arch got it away just in time. Clock continues to run. Interception. Terrible read by Arch Manning. That was all me. Made Arch look bad. I should have never thrown it into that area. Fortunately, Ole Miss does not score. Screenplay, and they get plenty. Nice pass to Gibson as they come on a blitz. 3rd and 12. Offensive coordinator calls a screenplay, and it works. No, it doesn't. They get all but 1 yard. So hopefully Oklahoma can kick a field goal here, and they somehow score a touchdown. Sawchuk takes it outside, takes it wide, which is what I've wanted him to do all day. He takes it wide again, and he picks up another first down. Touchdown, Gibson from Arch Manning. That's his 4th touchdown of the day. That is Ole Miss fans crying. So Arch Manning in Oklahoma take down Ole Miss 42-10. Arch Manning will face the number 24th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Nice pass over the middle, complete to Gibson for an Oklahoma first down. Sluggo gets the first down for the Sooners. It is a raucous crowd, as you can imagine, here at Alabama. 4th and 1, of course. So Oklahoma will most likely have to punt. Interception. Arch Manning, I thought he was going to do a hook, and he kept running, but nonetheless, my bad. Alabama gets a field goal on the turnover by Arch Manning. Nice pass to McIntyre, the tight end. Just got rid of it in time to McIntyre. Nice audible by Arch. His wide receiver was able to hear it, and they pick up the first down. Sawchuk on the slant. That is an Oklahoma Sooners touchdown. So Oklahoma's defense holds Alabama to another field goal. Into the first quarter, Oklahoma up 7-6. Stadium pulse at crazy levels right now. That was a great screen. Sluggo picks up big yards for Oklahoma. Nice pass by Arch Manning to pick up another Oklahoma first down. As I've shared before, Oklahoma's offensive coordinator loves to establish the run, so much so that even on play for loss on first down, he will love to go back to a running play on second down. As Arch tried to get rid of it, he was sacked. Alabama goes up 27-10 in the second quarter, and the sack on Arch. That ball caught by number 4. Intercepted. Thank God they stopped him before he scored. Pick 6. Again, establishing the run on 2nd and 10 on a failed run play, and they go run again. I don't quite understand this offensive coordinator. First down, Oklahoma, and of course they go right back to the run. They actually are going to a pass on second down. That may be the first of the game. It's Sluggo, which has worked every time. So Arch has to use one of his play calls, call a different play. He calls a wide receiver mid-screen for an Oklahoma first down. Interception number 3 for Arch. That was supposed to be a curl, and looked like 0 was the only one that curled for Alabama. Alabama up 37-10. Somehow interception number 4 for Arch. Game ends 47-17 with Arch throwing 4 picks. Alabama upsets number 10 Oklahoma after that 4 interception performance for Manning. He's up to 11 interceptions with 27 touchdowns and over 2,500 yards passing, 76% completion percentage, and 163.6 QB rating. So still a very solid season until they faced Alabama. They face another tough contest playing at Tennessee. Even though they are 5-3, they are 24th in the nation. So here comes the top 25 nationally ranked Tennessee Volunteers against the Oklahoma Sooners. This will be another tough one after the beating that Arch Manning and Oklahoma took against Alabama. Nice run. Arch Manning is absolutely leveled, but he gets rid of the ball beforehand. See if Gibson can hear the play, and he does. Nice catch on the zone to get a first down. Oklahoma at Tennessee's 11-yard line. This is a huge drive right here for Oklahoma. They really need to score a touchdown here. Nice handoff to Sawchuk. They hand it up the middle to Sawchuk, and he is having more luck this week already against Tennessee than he did the whole game against Alabama. And now on 3rd and long, they want to run a slip screen, pick up a few yards, but 4th and 6, so they will have to punt. Tennessee scores another touchdown to make it 14-7. Goes to McIntyre, the starting tight end. And there's McIntyre wide open. Sawchuk kind of runs ahead of one of his blockers, but that ended up being a good move. Touchdown, Sooners. And that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. But for some reason, the offensive coordinator is calling pass plays. I don't know what's going on. Gets that to starting tight end. So McIntyre gets smacked a few times, but he holds on for that one. Tennessee down by 1, 21-20. That one to McIntyre. He is wide open. McIntyre with the catch. Timeout, Oklahoma. Please kick a field goal here. And they do. Tennessee comes back after half and kicks a field goal of their own. Oh, that was right to McIntyre. McIntyre with a nice catch and strafe. Great catch by Kearney right there. Great play by 4. Nice play to McIntyre. Drops the ball. Oklahoma with the field goal. You've got to be kidding me. A fumble. Tennessee goes up 32-27. He was down. That should come back. McIntyre with the catch. First down, Sooners. Nice play by Arch Manning to find his wide receiver open. Nice screen. Fumble, Tennessee ball. Manning with 299 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Manning goes deep, touchdown, Oklahoma to Anderson. And that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. Oklahoma tries to go for the 2-point conversion. They do not convert. Tennessee scores a touchdown to make it 40-33. Tennessee with a 10-point lead with 1:18 left. This is the last thing Oklahoma wanted. So Oklahoma falls to 23 in the polls. So they're still in the hunt, but they would need to win out, and it'll be tough in the SEC. So Arch Manning and Oklahoma take on Missouri to try to get back on track after 2 straight losses. Nice pass to McIntyre, the tight end. First down, Oklahoma on the slant. 4th and goal. They don't get in the end zone, but they do somehow. 7-0. Nice pass by Arch right over the middle for an Oklahoma first down. 4th and 1. Oklahoma will have to punt, it looks like. Kearney with the catch and the first down. Sooners. Burks with the first down catch. Nice throw by Arch. Good look by Arch. Nice run by number 1. 4th and 14. Drop pass. Nice pass by Arch. Great pass to number 1 for an Oklahoma first down. Gibson gets close to the first down. Great play to pass to McIntyre to pick up the first down for the Sooners. Good look for Gibson. Gibson in for an Oklahoma touchdown. And that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. So the Sooners go up 14-10 before half. Great throw and catch. Nice pass and catch on the fade. Sawchuk running wide finally. He picks up a big gain for Oklahoma. The sluggo is sniffed out by the Tigers to make it 4th and 3. Missouri pulls within 2 points, 21-19. Missouri up 26-21. Circle receiver got held up all the way down the field and no interference call. Interception Arch, first of the game. Missouri goes up 33-21 with 1 minute left in the 4th quarter. Nice throw and catch. Missouri took control of the second half, and Oklahoma failed to score, that's for sure. Touchdown Oklahoma. Arch Manning with 354 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Arch Manning was 42 of 61, 354 yards passing, close to 70% completion percentage, 3 TDs, 1 interception. Sawchuk again, it's a 91 overall, a captain, it's only a junior, and gains 2.9 yards per carry. That's just unacceptable. Jaden Gibson with the big day. So Oklahoma on a bit of a losing streak, 3 games in a row they have lost, and now they have to go to South Carolina and try to stop the losing streak by beating the Gamecocks. So in our 3-game losing streak, our rushing totals have been just paltry. They have been just ghastly, and so we've got to do something to get our running game going. The play action works. Touchdown Sooners. So they go up 6-0 on South Carolina on a long drive. So Oklahoma's defense comes up big with the stop on South Carolina. Just gets rid of it before he gets leveled. Nice catch by McIntyre, the tight end. Nice pass by Manning. 3rd and 6, and the offensive coordinator calls a quarterback draw. And he is brilliant. Manning gets about 7 on that. Sawchuk gets just enough for an Oklahoma touchdown. And that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. So Manning throws a pick 6, 14-10, Oklahoma. Pass complete to McIntyre. Quiets the crowd down a little bit. Nice pass to Gibson. Gibson picks up more than the first down. Oklahoma down to the South Carolina 24-yard line. Wide receiver screen. He only picks up 3. Now the O coordinator calls the screen. 4th and inches, of course. Oklahoma better make this field goal. And they don't. But they do get the ball back at the South Carolina 13-yard line. Going into the 2nd quarter, Oklahoma's up 14-10. And Arch Manning becoming known for his pick 6s. Touchdown, backup tight end, Helms. And that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. So South Carolina drives right down and scores a touchdown to match Oklahoma. Great throw. Great run, too. He gets right up to Gamecock midfield, 49-yard line. Sawchuk has a huge hole up the middle. And now we're in a 3rd and 14. That one to the tight end, McIntyre. 9:53 left in the 2nd quarter. 21-17 Oklahoma. Arch Manning leading them down the field. Nice pass over the middle. And Sawchuk gets in for an Oklahoma touchdown. So anything I throw deep or mid is going to be picked. South Carolina with the score. Great look by Manning. Timeout Oklahoma. So there was 6 seconds left. I guess Oklahoma missed the field goal. Nice completion from Arch. Sawchuk, what a move. Best move of the season. 3rd and goal, they throw it to McIntyre for an Oklahoma touchdown. Great pass to McIntyre. McIntyre. Go to Helms, the backup tight end. 1st down, Oklahoma. Goes to McIntyre over the middle. McIntyre is so close. Pass out to the running back, Sawchuk, for another Oklahoma touchdown. For those that are wondering about the pick sixes and just the picks in general, this is on Heisman mode, which I'm finding to be very difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. South Carolina brings it to 45-40. The pass to the tight end, but he's short by 2 yards, so Oklahoma's going to have to punt. South Carolina goes up by 1, 46-45. So South Carolina kicks a field goal. So Oklahoma loses another one, 55-45. It's almost unbelievable. That's 4 in a row. That's my bad, though, on another pick. Our boy Arch Manning and Oklahoma are in the midst of a terrible losing streak of 4 in a row. They've lost at Alabama, at Tennessee, at home versus Missouri, and at South Carolina. They're going to try to correct it this week against Auburn. Not the best team to get back on track with. This will help the Sooners playing at home. Arch Manning will lead them out. Oklahoma and Auburn all tied up at 7. 4th and 4, so Oklahoma will have to punt. So that was a terrible pass by me. Arch Manning gets credited for that pick. Oklahoma defense comes up big. Great catch. McIntyre picks up an Oklahoma first down. Oklahoma with 3 timeouts. They'll call one after this play most likely. Another pick for Arch Manning. I don't know what has gone wrong. That was a great chance to score there for the Sooners, and they don't score. McIntyre finally open. He gets big yardage. Backup tight end Helms in there for almost an Oklahoma first down. Cade McIntyre open for an Oklahoma touchdown. Well, the Oklahoma defense does a marvelous job getting the ball back for Oklahoma. To the backup tight end Helms. McIntyre holds on to it, and that, my friends, is just another Sooners touchdown. Oklahoma up 21-14 with 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Touchdown Arch, the backup halfback. That's Tatum, baby. So Arch gets lit up, but before he does, Auburn uses their second of their 3 timeouts. Gavin Sawchuk through the middle for an Oklahoma touchdown. Sawchuk has had one of his best games, I would say his best game in this losing streak by far. He has done absolutely nothing in this losing streak, and that's saying it kindly. So Oklahoma breaks the 4-game losing streak and beats the number 7 Auburn Tigers. Sawchuk, 10 carries, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So we have enough points to upgrade Arch Manning. And obviously with the INTs, the accuracy would be what we'd want to do first. So 91 accuracy. Wow, he's up to a 93 by using 6 points. That's crazy. Oklahoma is on a 1-game win streak after taking down number 7 Auburn. Now they face a lesser but still as volatile LSU Tiger squad. 37 seconds left in the first quarter. LSU didn't leave much time. The Oklahoma offensive coordinator thinks I'm Dylan Gabriel, and that's why he calls so many RPOs and so many run plays. He thinks I'm a running quarterback, and he has not figured it out yet. Kearney open. LSU goes up by 7. Arch gets out of the pocket a little bit. Touchdown Sooners. So they tied up with 21 seconds left before the half. Nice pass by Arch and slip screen. Another popular call from the offensive coordinator of Oklahoma. Nice pass, nice completion to Gibson. Oklahoma goes up by a touchdown. The pass complete to Kearney. It's 21-21 with 3:57 left in the fourth quarter. So another SEC grudge match here. Go McIntyre with 3:10 left in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma is getting ready to score. And they do. What a cut by Gibson for a Sooners touchdown. Oklahoma's defense is going to have to come up big, and they do. Arch Manning with 298 yards passing, 3 TDs, and no interceptions today. LSU has to use the second of their 3 timeouts. Sawchuk gets the first down. Arch can just kneel this one out. So the Sooners on a 2-game win streak beat the Tigers of LSU at home behind Arch Manning's great day, 290 yards passing, 80% completion percentage, and 4 touchdowns, no picks. So Cade Klubnik wins the Heisman Trophy, and Oklahoma will take on Michigan in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and they are just as good as Oklahoma and even better. Sawchuk with the All-American nod. Cade McIntyre with the All-American nod. There is word circulating that Arch Manning, unhappy with the offensive coordinator calls throughout the season, seeing him as a running quarterback, that he is open to testing the transfer portal. Nice pass by Arch. Nice pass by Arch. Nice catch by Kearney. That's right, an Oklahoma run. Defense comes up with a big stop. Michigan does not score. Got it to McIntyre. Oh, McIntyre's wide open, and he's got an Oklahoma touchdown. That puts Oklahoma up by 2 scores. Wide open is the Oklahoma receiver, and he picks up big yards. Oh, Cade McIntyre's wide open. Arch finds him. 1:55 left in the second quarter. And that is a touchdown. Arch Manning with 199 yards passing and 2 touchdowns on the day. Oklahoma at half up 24-0. Stunning the Wolverines. Perfect pass by Arch over the middle. So Arch gets to rest the rest of the game, and Michigan only puts up a field goal. So Oklahoma wins the bowl game. Arch Manning is the player of the game with 308 yards passing, 3 TDs. So where and why would Arch want to transfer? He's not a good fit in the Oklahoma offense. Even though it says air raid, I had to go out and find playbooks or find teams that did not have quarterbacks that ran, and I was actually quite surprised as I came across certain teams that I knew the quarterback and I knew who he was, where he transferred from, but I had no idea that maybe he was their team's leading rusher. We finished the season 8-5. We finished it strong, but we didn't get into the final 12, if you will, or the bowl championship series. But here's Purdue, Tulane. They're both super high on Arch. Tulane, of course, is in New Orleans. Arch is from New Orleans. But when you look at their overall and their offense and their defense, even Purdue's an 83 overall. If winning a national championship is the name of the game and what Arch wants to do, then probably these kind of schools are not for him. Even Mississippi State has an 81 overall. Here is a very interesting school, though, and another knife to the heart, if he were to go here to the Texas Longhorns, would be Texas A&M. They are an 87 overall, 89 offense, 87 defense. They run a pro-style scheme, but last time I checked, their quarterbacks do run quite a bit in the games that I've seen. And so they're a great fit. Other than that, they run a pro-style offense, and they may be perfect for him with that pro-style offense. But I'm just concerned that they would, like Oklahoma, want to run RPO after RPO, run play after run play. They had Arch run quarterback draws so many times that I lost track. And so obviously that's just a playbook You know, Florida was a thought and is a thought. 86 overall. Auburn is a thought. Very interesting thought. 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense. Arizona State, they're not quite ready for big time yet, it doesn't look like. North Texas, even though they have great interest, they're not quite on the cusp of winning a natty. One of the things I don't want to do is go to a school like Alabama, who had won 3 or 4 championships recently. You know what I mean? It would just be another championship for him. Even LSU, when Nick Saban was with LSU, they rattled off, 2 or 3 under him there, and so I moved on. Baylor's only an 84. This was a huge surprise to me. USC is a full 5-star team, and yet their overall is only 84. 84 offense, 85 defense. They do run an air raid offensive scheme, and most of their quarterbacks are not running quarterbacks, but they're not in any position to compete for a natty, it doesn't look like. Kentucky kind of in the same boat. Now, Texas, would they ever allow him back in the state of Texas? Would they ever allow him back in the city of Austin if he wanted to go? They're only 4 stars out of 5 stars, and they were 9-4 last year. But look at their overall: 90 overall, 89 offense, 91 defense. Pro style offensive scheme. And they've had Quinn Ewers, they had Manning coming after. Those quarterbacks don't run a lot, so the scheme should be geared for a passing quarterback. TCU, not quite ready for that next level. BYU is a few levels away. Cal, not quite ready. Oklahoma State was an option, is an option. 85 overall. And one of the nice things would be getting out of the SEC, because it is such a gauntlet of teams. SMU is of interest too, because they like to air it out, and it's been the 80s since they won a natty, and it would be kind of nice to bring it back to Dallas and win a national title for the Mustangs, but they're still a year or so away. And surprisingly, Nebraska is only an 84 overall. I really like Nebraska, but they're not quite there. Arkansas, another team that is only an 84 overall. Florida State, all the problems they had this year, it might seem like a perfect place for him to go, but I don't know if he would go to Florida State. Seems like a Midwest guy to me, or a Southwest guy to me. Georgia, another team that is so good that, you kind of wonder. They've won multiple championships, but I'd just be another quarterback there. Michigan is an option with an 88 overall team with 87 offense and 90 defense and 4.5 stars. They would be a nice fit, but they won a championship last year. Miami, surprisingly to me, is only an 86, so he could do great things with them, but I don't see Arch as a Miami Hurricane. Washington has surprisingly not recovered since Michael Penix Jr. was there, and they're only an 84 overall. One of great interest is Notre Dame. They are an independent. They do play a pretty tough schedule. They were 11-2 last year. They run the spread. 88 overall, 87 offense, 89 defense. He would seem to fit right in there. But when I look at their quarterback this year, Riley Leonard, at least the 2 games that I watched, he was the team's leading rusher, and not just in yardage but in carries. They definitely asked their quarterback to run a lot. It's not the end all be all, I guess, and it would be a fresh start for him. Troy, sorry guys. Oregon, another one that was of interest to me and is of interest, but it looks like they won the championship this past season. They were 16-0, and their quarterback was a running quarterback, so I'm sure their offense is geared for him. And so, but definitely someone, a team to keep in mind. Penn State, kind of one of my favorites. I don't know why, just can see Arch wearing that old school blue and white uniform, but they themselves are maybe a step away, but they're close. Boston College, don't see them there. Always be Doug Flutie's home. Virginia Tech, they're not the Virginia Tech they used to be. Syracuse, they are not the Syracuse of this year. They are definitely down on their luck now. Tennessee, I find it hard to think that he would follow Peyton to Tennessee. The same with Ole Miss, with Eli. Ohio State, one of those places that is always in the hunt for a natty. Would Arch just be the next guy in line? Does he want to be that, just that next guy? Texas Tech was of great interest, but their defense does not look very solid. They were 5-7 last year. Seem a few steps away. Arizona is a number of steps away. Missouri, they were sure better than that when Arch and Oklahoma played them this year. I can tell you that. Colorado, that would be interesting playing for Prime, but they've had a running quarterback, so probably a lot of plays geared for a running quarterback. Iowa is of interest. They run a pro style offense, but they are only an 84 overall. They do have an 85 defense though, and maybe he could help get them over the hump. Out of all these schools, which one is Arch going to pick? He has a lot of choices, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my son pick what school Arch chooses. Okay, so what's it going to be? My son Camden is going to help pick where Arch Manning goes to school. So this is Camden. He's my 4-year-old son who's the baseball star.
I want to go right there.
Right where?
Go this way. Go down. This way. The orange one. That one.
This one? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, because once I press it, are you sure? Oklahoma State? I thought you told me Texas Longhorns.
Oh yeah, I want to.
Okay, that's who it's gonna be. We could go to Georgia.
I do go to Georgia.
But Arch Manning is going back to Texas. He's committed to the University of Texas.
Oh.
Yes, the Longhorns. Good choice, son. I don't know if they'll let him back in the state because he used to play there and then he transferred away. But I love your choice. So we will see Arch Manning in the burnt orange. I guess it's not horns down anymore. It's hook 'em horns. Go Texas and Arch Manning. I want to thank my son Camden for helping me out. Oh, they changed his number to 10. Someone must have come in and got 16. Let's view the roster. So we got CJ Baxter and Jaden Blue. Wingo, a sophomore. It's our number 1 wide receiver at 85 overall. Jonte Cook is an 85. Redshirt freshman. Parker Livingston is an 80. DeAndre Moore is an 80. Ryan Niblett is an 80 as well. At tight end, we have a senior, Amari Nablack. He's a captain. Left tackle, sophomore. 86. Let's go right tackle. 83. Redshirt junior. 82. And on the right side, 88 overall senior. And at center, Connor Robertson, a 78 overall redshirt freshman right behind him. At left end, we have a 93 overall Ethan Burke. On the right side is an 87 overall defensive tackle, an 83, an 82, and an 80, all 3 juniors. And then we have a redshirt freshman that's a 79. Redshirt sophomore left outside linebacker, 86. Love that the defense is stacked. Leona LaFoe, 83 overall middle linebacker as a junior. And at cornerback, Malik Muhammad, 89 overall, 85 overall senior, 84 overall, 83, and then an 81 redshirt freshman and an 80 redshirt freshman. 87 overall senior free safety, Jeremiah Cooper from El Paso, Texas. I was almost born in El Paso, Texas. And then Derek Williams Jr. at strong safety, an 86 overall junior. I like that they have a solid kicker with Will Stone, 78 overall. Not a great punter in Kern, so Texas won't have a hard schedule. Oh wait, they play the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State, first game. Okay, well it looks like I'm dumb as rocks, even though I have about a 4.0 GPA. So better get ready for this exam in 8 weeks. I have a deal right now with Coke Zero. It's been great for me and my brand, but I got 2 more open slots. Ohio State just a little bit better than Texas, but about the same. We're lucky this game is at Texas. I say we're lucky, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So here we go. Arch Manning versus #1 Ohio State. Thought he had that, but he couldn't get off the block. Washington picks up a Longhorn first down. He's going. He is gone for a Texas Longhorn touchdown. That is Cook the second. Texas up 7-0 over Ohio State. Pass to the tight end. Screenplay, but out too far in front. So the Texas defense comes up big again. Nice look over the middle. That is the end of the first quarter with Texas leading 7-0. That's an INT by Arch. Ohio State ties it up 7-7 before half. Texas with all 3 timeouts. What a pass by Arch. What speed by #5. Touchdown Texas right before half. That is a huge pass to Ryan Wingo. 14-14 at halftime. Somehow Ohio State scored. Texas offense moving at will so far. The offensive line is making some huge blocks. Wide receiver screen. Nice move. Pass to the tight end, Washington. He gets around the corner down to the Ohio State 6-yard line. Pass to the tight end. Touchdown Longhorns. Touchdown Texas. Look at that. Beat them deep. Texas pinned within their own 5-yard line with 3:13 left in the fourth quarter. Running back with a huge run. Texas up 2 scores on #1 Ohio State. That hole was huge. And what a run. The 10, the 5. Touchdown Texas on the huge run. So Arch Manning with 269 yards passing, 4 TDs, 1 pick to lead the Longhorns, the unranked Longhorns, over the #1 Ohio State Buckeyes. I would say the Longhorns will be in the top 25 after this week. Texas is not ranked. That is embarrassing to the pollsters. I cannot believe that. So this is going to be more of a battle than we expected, guys. So hang in there. So after knocking off the #1 Ohio State Buckeyes, Texas will face Texas State at home for what is considered a money game, but Texas State is a pretty good team, and Texas is unranked. In a ceremony before the game, Vince Young ceremonially handed his retired #10 jersey over to Arch Manning. As many remember, Vince Young was an absolute stud at the University of Texas. Nice pass to Washington. He gets away for a few extra yards. So Texas is driving into Texas State territory. The pass out to the halfback gets to the 15-yard line. Arch at the 15. Nice pass to Washington, I believe. Nice pass by Arch. Can 5 get in? And he doesn't. Down to the 1-yard line. Pass to the tight end. That is just another Longhorn touchdown. Texas up 7-0. If you don't have my apparel, if you're interested, I have some new apparel up that I think you guys might be interested in. You'll have to check it out. Baxter gets loose on the running back screen. The 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns score yet another touchdown. 14-0 Texas with 3:58 left in the second quarter. Arch hands off. Baxter picks up a first down. And all go to the tight end. Touchdown Longhorns. Washington gets open again. That one is going all the way. Texas Longhorns on the touchdown pass. The Texas State Defensive backs cannot stay with the Longhorns. Nice move by Baxter. Great move by Baxter. He's gone, folks. He's gone for another Longhorn touchdown. That's going to make it 34-0 Texas. So at the end of the third quarter, it's the Longhorns 35, the Bobcats 0. So with the game in hand, Arch was taken out. He was not needed, but he still put up a 94% completion percentage rate with 4 TDs and over 300 yards passing. I think I'll pass on this opportunity, but thank you. Anyway, we have 7 points, if you will, to upgrade Arch Manning, his accuracy to probably to 99%. We need 12 for his throwing power. We need 7 to make his IQ 99, which his awareness would probably go to 99. Amazing that his medium throw accuracy is 99 and his short throw accuracy is only 90. Now that's an upgrade right there. Short throw accuracy goes up to a 99. His throw on the run was an 84 and it goes up to a 93, and he's a 98 overall. Let's see if Texas sneaks into the top 25, and they don't, but their opponent this week, Texas San Antonio, lost, so they fell out of the top 25. Gosh, we're not even receiving votes yet. CJ Baxter has leapt to number 1 in the Heisman Trophy race. That is astounding. We haven't seen Matthew McConaughey. Where is he at? You know he wants to watch Arch Manning's return to Texas. It is raining here. Good catch. Pass to Washington. He's wide open. And what a run down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal with 2:46 left in the first quarter. Texas and UTSA all tied up on the jet touch pass. Arch Manning with another touchdown pass. Washington was wide open. How could you not throw it to him? 1 minute left in the first quarter. What a move by Baxter. He's going all the way, folks. That, my friends, is just another Longhorns touchdown. At the end of the first quarter, Texas has the ball deep in their own territory. Baxter runs outside. The halfback screen. Baxter with the spin move picks up the first down. 3:33 left in the first quarter. Texas up 14-0. The tight end in motion. Baxter with the cut to the left side. Wide open is the tight end. 87. Texas at their 1-yard line of UTSA, and the jet touch pass is just another easy score for Texas. Manning hit that through the eye of a needle and completed that pass. Niblett with the catch and a first down. And that is another Longhorns touchdown. Arch Manning with only 169 yards passing, but he has 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. What moves by number 1? Oh, that's a touchdown, Texas. The speed is too great for UTSA. Arch Manning saw him and he hit him. Arch Manning and Texas up 35-7. Oh, Baxter gets loose. And he's almost gone. He gets down deep into UTSA territory. And there he goes. And that's a Texas touchdown. Oh, Baxter, what a move. What a pass by Arch. Looking for the run, and Arch passes it. Jonte Cook, the player of the game, 7 catches and 5 touchdowns. All right, guys, that'll do it for this week. Texas is 3-0, and they have handedly taken out formerly ranked UTSA, Texas State, and formerly number 1 Ohio State, and still not ranked. So the Longhorns have looked good so far early in the season with Arch Manning back in the saddle. But now they go on the road for their first SEC matchup against South Carolina. So the handoff, and it gets big yardage. CJ Baxter close to South Carolina midfield. What a pass by Arch. to number 5. That is a Texas Longhorns touchdown. That one to Wingo again for a huge gain and a Texas first down with 2:17 left in the first quarter, all the way up to the South Carolina 43-yard line. What a move by the Texas running back, and he picks up a first down. Texas, I was just going to say Texas feels very comfortable just handing the ball off to Baxter, but right then he fumbles and gives South Carolina life. Did go back to South Carolina, but they didn't score. What a move. That is the most electric player in college football right now. Baxter is ridiculous. Washington comes up short of the Texas first down. It'll be 4th and 3. Will Texas kick a field goal here? Well, if they did, they missed it, and South Carolina scores the touchdown to bring it to a 1-touchdown game at 14-7. What a pass by Arch Manning. Did you see that? That was ridiculous. Washington open. Touchdown, Longhorns. And that, my friends, is just another Texas touchdown. Wow, 22 seconds. The Longhorns get the ball at South Carolina 14-yard line. Right there to number 1. That's right. Another Texas Longhorn touchdown. Matthew McConaughey. Where is he? He is nowhere to be seen. But that is Cook's. I don't know how many touchdowns that is for Jonte Cook, but that's a lot. March with 173 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Texas leads South Carolina 28-7. Pass completed to 18. Man, can he hold on to a ball? I got rid of that, and he didn't throw it, and so I had to throw it late. 31-7, so a field goal's kicked. 4:33 left in the fourth quarter. Texas seems to have this under control. Baxter with another run. He's at the 20, the 10, the 5. He's in for another Texas touchdown. Baxter is ridiculous. Texas up 38-7. Oh, yeah. What a look by Arch. That, my friends, is just another Longhorns touchdown. So Arch Manning with 210 yards passing and 4 passing touchdowns. No interceptions. Oh, Baxter, what a move. I can see why now he's number 1 in the Heisman voting. Number 9 in the game to spell Baxter. Number 9 gets in. Mystifies me that the Texas coaching staff left those 2 guys, especially Arch and Baxter, in the game. Baxter 16 carries, 249 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We've got to be in the top 25 now, and we are not, but we are 4-0, and we'll play Ole Miss in week 5. So Ole Miss comes into Austin, Texas to face the Longhorns, who are undefeated, but Ole Miss is 3-1 themselves. Washington open. Manning found him. Huge first down for the Longhorns. Baxter with the run, and he keeps going for another Texas touchdown, folks. Well, the first one of this game, but that, my friends, is just another Longhorns touchdown. Ole Miss ties the game. It's 7-7. Texas with the ball at their own 25. Wide receiver screen. 5 gets free, but he gets taken down, but not until he gets into Ole Miss territory. What a pass by Arch. Oh, flag on the play. Late hit. We'll accept it. 3:41 left before halftime. 1st and goal for the Longhorns. Baxter is stopped cold. They go to Baxter again, though, and he's in for a Longhorn touchdown. So the score remains 14-7. Texas back with the ball right at the 50-yard line. Ball out to Baxter, and he picks up 20+ yards. So Texas is going for it on 4th and 2. Have a power set in, and they easily get the first down. This crowd goes wild. What a pass, and what a jump by 18 to get into the end zone. It was 21-7. Texas has 13 seconds. So Texas has to take a timeout. 7 seconds left. Touchdown, Longhorns. Cook gets open and Arch finds him. Texas at their own half-yard line. This is a scary predicament right here. Baxter doesn't get out of the end zone. I guess he does. 2nd and 10. Baxter run up the middle for 20 yards. Cook with a catch. He's going. He's gone. Texas Longhorns for another touchdown. Matthew McConaughey is here today, and he is going crazy on the sidelines if you've not seen already. Never seen a more passionate fan. Even though my wife loves him, I could take him or leave him. Incomplete pass. Not a good look by Arch Manning. Can't say enough about the Texas offensive line today. Love the runs wide, and Baxter's gonna get another Texas touchdown. That's right. It is deafening in here as Texas goes up 41-14 over the 3-1 Ole Miss Rebels. And Arch Manning celebrates with his teammates. 143 yards rushing on 19 carries. 3 touchdowns for CJ Baxter. Texas finally gets ranked 25th, and they will face Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. CJ Baxter leads in the Heisman Trophy buzz, if you will. Middle Tennessee is 11th. Texas Tech is 3-2, and they're 15th. Texas is 5-0, and they're 25th. I don't get it. The coaches poll, they're 19th. That makes a little bit more sense. Well, folks, you are here for the game, the Red River rivalry. Not only is it the Red River rivalry, but it is the reunion between Arch Manning and where he played quarterback last year at Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold has taken over and is doing well, but not better than Texas right now, as Texas stands at 5-0. But rivalries, anything can happen. So here we go, folks. Oh, Baxter, what a move. Wonder what the emotions of Arch Manning are right now. I'm sure his focus is on the game. What a pass. And a first down to Washington. Baxter breaks away, and he easily gets another Longhorn first down. And that one to the tight end. So close to the first down, or to the touchdown, excuse me. And that is a touchdown. Texas goes up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, and they get the ball back. Nice throw by Arch. Oh yeah, Washington, baby. 3:22 left before halftime. Texas is close to midfield. Well, they go to Baxter here. They do. He has a huge hole. He can run wherever he wants to. Oh, Baxter on the play action, baby. On the RPO, actually. Baxter takes it all the way for another Texas touchdown to make it 13-0 Longhorns. Wingo is open. Arch Manning hit him. Wingo is going all the way for a Longhorns touchdown, baby. That is 20-0 Texas. So 21-3 at half. Washington with the catch. He's got a ways to go, but the safety comes up and stops him right at the 50-yard line. That was interference by Oklahoma, not called, but that's okay. That Texas defense is stingy. Look at the hole that Baxter has. Gosh darn it. 4th and 10. Oklahoma will get the ball back, and they will score a touchdown with 2:54 left. This game is not over. It is a 2-possession game. Baxter throws off a guy. So Baxter runs right into an Oklahoma defender, and Oklahoma takes their first time out. A loss of 5 yards. That's a huge loss. Oh, Baxter takes it outside where he loves it, and he picks up a huge gain. 21-10 your score. Texas ahead with 1:47 left in the fourth quarter. Baxter's so close to getting in. Baxter runs wide, and Oklahoma is right there. And that is the game, folks. The Texas Longhorns beat Arch Manning's old team, the Oklahoma Sooners. What a sweet victory for Arch. This has to be 66 series wins for Texas. C.J. Baxter was 17 rushing attempts, 164 yards. Texas slowly creeps up to 21. They're going to have to go play the 4-1 LSU Tigers. That may be a gauntlet right there. Middle Tennessee State is up to 7th. I watched many a game there. So in the media poll, Texas moves up 4 spots. Let's see what the coaches poll did with Texas. Moved them up 3 spots to 16. I just don't get it. They're 6-0 and Arkansas is in the same conference with them, and they're 3-2, and they're ahead of them. LSU there were a top 30, they're 27th. So the Texas Longhorns come in ranked at 21 in the nation. They are undefeated on the season, and yet still they don't rank higher than 21 so far in the nation. As they get into their SEC schedule, and if they can win some games, they'll rise up the polls. Nice pass over the middle to the tight end. He's going all the way. Texas Longhorns score on the second play of the game. The score remains 7-0. Texas somehow with the ball at LSU's 20-yard line. Baxter with a nice run. Huge hole for him. There goes Baxter in for another Texas touchdown. Nice catch by Washington. Baxter runs wide like he loves to, and he's cut off by an LSU defender, but not until after he gets another Texas first down. Texas in full control right now after 1 quarter. Nice throw out to his tight end. It's 4th and 2. Texas will go for it instead of kicking a field goal, and Baxter rolls over and gets the first down. Arch Manning looks like he can run just a little bit, and it is 1st and goal, Longhorns. The handoff to Baxter for a Texas touchdown. Wingo wide open. Arch saw him and got it to him right away. That's another Texas first down. They are driving at will on the Tigers defense today. They go to the tight end. And that, my friends, is just another Texas touchdown. Texas goes up 28-3 at half. They have the ball in LSU territory. They go to Baxter. And Baxter is gone, folks. Baxter with yet another Longhorn touchdown. This is getting out of hand, folks. Manning throws deep. Touchdown, Longhorns. Look at that throw, baby. Niblett with the touchdown reception from Arch Manning. If there was a chance for LSU, there is not anymore. And Baxter tacks on 1 more touchdown for the pollsters that don't believe Texas deserves a top 10 ranking or even a top 5 ranking, really. 182 yards, 4 touchdowns for C.J. Baxter. But Texas only moves up to 17th after that shellacking of LSU. But they do face the number 2 Tennessee Volunteers. Both teams are ranked 7-0. They're both undefeated in conference play. So here's where the rubber meets the road right here. Tennessee puts up 3. And the pass to the tight end. First down, Texas. Right there to James Washington. I think his name's James Washington. Washington with a 10-yard gain. Nice move. And the jet touch pass. And Texas goes ahead 6-3. Nice look by Arch. Nice move. Washington with the catch. And about a 15-yard pickup. 3rd and 4. Pass to Niblett. Back to Washington, picks up 7. Baxter gets the first down, gets close to the goal line. Niblett wide open for a Texas Longhorns touchdown. Jonte Cook wide open. Man found him, and he goes all the way for a touchdown. 21-6 at halftime. Texas defense is standing strong so far. Baxter with the run. That was his best run by far. Well, Washington caught it, but 1 yard short of the first down. So Texas will either kick a field goal. I don't know what they did. They either missed the field goal, they got the ball back on Tennessee's 27-yard line. Wingo is gone for a Texas touchdown, 28-6. Looks like an inter-squad scrimmage from afar. They are in Tennessee territory again. Niblett comes up with it, but he's 3 yards short. So what will Texas do? They won't make a field goal, but they'll somehow get the ball back deep in Tennessee territory. There goes Baxter on the longest run of his day, and that's another Texas touchdown, folks. So that's the game. They take Arch out of the game. Texas goes on to win it 42-6. Arch finishes with just under 300 yards passing and 4 touchdown passes. Texas moves up after beating Tennessee from 17-11. Will face 23rd ranked Alabama Crimson Tide next week. Well, Alabama is ranked just holding on to the top 25. They are just as good of a team as Texas is as far as their overall. So Alabama gets on the board first with a touchdown. Nice pass by Arch to Jonte Cook. Washington just stops, but at least it's a first down. And Manning saw him open Washington. So Texas is going to tie this up. Alabama goes up 14-7 to try to get the ball in the hands of our Heisman Trophy front runner, Baxter. There we do. Goes to Baxter again. Nice run by Baxter. He gets to the outside. To Washington. He gets enough for a first and goal. And there he is again for yet another Texas touchdown. Texas's defense stops Alabama for the first time. Washington just always seems to be open. Washington picks up close to 20 yards. Wingo, first down. Goes right back to Wingo. 21-14 at halftime. That one is completed. Can he outrun the safety? No, but he gets a huge gain. That was a great look by Arch and a great run. Baxter goes wide, which is what he does well. Niblett gets into the end zone for just another Longhorn touchdown. Texas defense has come up big with some stops against Alabama. Baxter goes wide and he gains a huge amount of yardage. Number 9 almost goes in. Nice block by Washington. Niblett gets in again. Arch wants to throw his hat in this Heisman race. 35-21. Number 9. Love it when they run wide. Baxter gets in for a Texas touchdown. So Texas finishes off Alabama 42-21. Arch does everything he can do. So we're up to 7. Arch plays his way into the Heisman voting. Auburn is not having a good season, but they are statistically overall just as good as Texas. Halfback draw, Baxter. What a move. Picks up big yards for the Longhorns. Baxter in for the touchdown. Texas will go up 7-0. Auburn ties it up at 7. Washington on the catch and the run. He is gone. Touchdown Longhorns. So Arch with a little throw and Washington does the rest. Oh, that's his first pick in a long time. 26-14. Baxter. What a run. He's got my vote for Heisman. Manning just got that away. And Gibson gets in for the Texas touchdown. 33-21. Auburn up. 3rd and inches. Oh, Baxter, he's gone. That's my Heisman winner right there. Texas will pull within 5. Washington. No, that's not Washington. That's the backup tight end right there. That's Randall. See if we can get some good blocking for Niblett. What a run by Niblett, too. Oh, go Baxter. Go. And the pass from Arch to Washington puts Texas ahead. Texas should go for 2 right here. Yes, it's good. So Auburn scores a touchdown. Oh, Wingo catches that. He's gone, baby. 20-10, 5. Touchdown. Longhorns. That is epic. You've got to be kidding me. Longhorns only fall to 13, but a loss is a loss is a loss. Texas has no more conference games that I know of. It appears that they are still going to be in the conference championship as of right now. Because of that loss, we are set to play in the Texas Bowl. This is the must-win of must-wins. Goes to Washington. Washington with a great block. Baxter goes wide, picks up 11 yards. Baxter takes it and gets enough for the first down. Touchdown pass to the running back out of the backfield, puts Texas up. Missouri gets stopped on their first drive, 3rd and 3. Got it to Washington. Washington won't go down. Goes wide. Touchdown Baxter. Touchdown Longhorns. 14-0 Texas. The end of the first quarter. Baxter picks up a first down. Wide open is Washington. 3:05 left in the second quarter. And the backup running back, 5. Touchdown. Washington gets a huge block. Look at that pass and that catch. Jonte Cook, 2nd. Press coverage, dude. Oh my gosh. Jonte Cook. Manning has 286 and 3 touchdowns at halftime. Baxter needs to break a big one. That's it. 20-10, 5. Touchdown Longhorns. Baxter on the counter. He's in for another Texas touchdown. So Manning and Baxter still in there at 49-7. Oh, Jonte Cook is gone. Put one last one on. So Texas wins this one 56-7. Baxter 204 rushing yards, 3 TDs, 43 and 3. It's usually a Heisman Trophy winning season, but Baxter 1797, 21 touchdowns. Oh, go. Wingo touchdown is cold in Connecticut. Washington has some blockers. To Espinoza, who was wide open. Connecticut scores a field goal. Go. Go. Break that. Touchdown Longhorns. What a monster catch. A monster throw. He took the top off. 35-3 Texas. Look at that throw, man. Touchdown Arch. Jonte Cook all day. Touchdown, baby. Baxter gets in for another Texas touchdown. Got invited to play in the SEC championship game. So in the biggest game of the year, Arch Manning and Texas will take on Georgia in the SEC Conference Championship. This obviously means a lot. Georgia, on paper, has the better team, but Texas needs to win this game. Baxter on the run. He picks up about 20 yards. Pass to the tight end. Oh, yeah. Touchdown Longhorns. Wingo catches it and goes into the end zone for a Longhorn touchdown. Good stop by the Texas defense. Baxter goes outside where he loves to go. He's gone, baby. Baxter, the Heisman frontrunner, goes all the way for a Texas touchdown. Another defensive stop by the Texas defense. Wingo picks up the first down and more. He's gone, baby. The Texas Longhorns have gone up by 3 touchdowns on the Georgia Bulldogs. So Georgia puts up a field goal on the scoreboard. Wingo again. Wingo. Arch put that on point. He put it where only Wingo could get it. It is 28-3, and the defense has given the ball back. Washington with the first down. Washington in for another Texas touchdown. It is before half, folks, and this is getting out of hand. So another stop on defense. Why not stop going to Washington when he's unstoppable? Baxter's yards are harder to come by now, but he does have over 100 so far today. Wow, he picked up about 10 on that one. The offensive coordinator for Texas is just calling run after run after run. Baxter had to be spelled, so the backup came in. Good job by Arch to get rid of that ball. Jet touch pass. Almost a touchdown. Touchdown on the second jet touch pass in a row. And Cook scores on this one. Arch Manning has 5 touchdown passes. It is 42-10. Baxter needs a Heisman type run. And he may have just gotten it right there. Takes it all the way to the 10-yard line. Oh, Baxter with such a juke move. It is 3rd and 4. So they will ask Arch to try to convert another score. And he does to nibble it, I believe. We're trying to get Baxter a Heisman Trophy. And Baxter's in for another touchdown. So Texas shellacks the number 2 Georgia in the SEC championship game, led by Arch Manning. With his 280 yards and 6 touchdowns, Texas will come home with the SEC championship. Wow, Texas moved up to number 1. C.J. Baxter, Heisman Trophy winner. Arch Manning, Best Quarterback Award winner. First team All-SEC, second team All-American. So Arch finishes second in the Heisman Trophy. Jordan Washington, tight end of the year. I graduated as a junior, so now they have us slotted in. In the first spot, we will play the winner of number 6 Maryland and number 7 Clemson. Maybe we need a little more throw power. At 91, 83 strength. That's what we've been waiting for. 91 and 83 to 94 and 90. Unfortunately, it's the Clemson Tigers we will face, and they are just as good as we are, so we have to play a clean game. We are at the Orange Bowl. Clemson comes up with a field goal. Nice pass by Manning. He's going 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Longhorns. Jonte Cook, baby. 10-7, Clemson. Pass out to the back. Baxter, the Heisman Trophy winner. Washington with a big catch. Oh, that was the craziest play I've seen. Watch this. That's good stuff right there. Oh, Washington wide open. Get in the end zone. Baxter, the Heisman Trophy winner. And that, my friends, is just another Longhorn touchdown. So 14-10 at halftime. Texas gets the ball out of the chute. Baxter 8 yards on 4 carries so far. Oh, the jet sweep. That's a beautiful play. Oh, what a throw. He was a little late in getting it there because of the play action. So Baxter continues to do nothing for the Longhorns. So it's 21-10 Texas somehow. Great catch by Niblet. Great look by Arch too. He saw him open, he had a window, and he hit it. Baxter breaks off an 8-yard run. First down, Longhorns. To Washington for just enough for a first down. Arch and Washington, they love each other. Texas is up by 18, so they will try to burn some clock with the Heisman Trophy winner. Oh, Baxter, what a move. What another move. He's already up to 69 yards. Oh, what a move by Baxter. In for another Texas touchdown. So Texas survives. and advances. So Baxter, the player of the game, he busted out. So we've made it to the semifinal against USC. We'll play in the Sugar Bowl. If we beat USC, on the other side awaits us Jacksonville State or Nebraska. USC comes in at 13-2, but they are loaded as an 88 overall. Baxter on a great run. Can't say enough about these linemen too, making big holes for Baxter. I mean, Baxter can take it to the house. The linemen have been doing a solid job. Washington wide open. He's so close to a touchdown. Jacksonville State has upset Nebraska 24-21. If we win this game, we will play in the national championship versus Jacksonville State. We've got to get there first. USC scores to tie it up, 7-7. Oh, Baxter breaks off a huge run. Niblet, that's the end of the first quarter. It's all tied up at 7. Why did he dive like that? Was that bad of a throw? Texas make a field goal here, and they do. And they get the ball back from USC, but at their own 4-yard line. Oh, Baxter. He's gone, baby. 96-yard touchdown for Texas. C.J. Baxter, the Heisman Trophy winner, goes 96 yards on the USC Trojans. 17-7 for half. Jonte Cook, the second, Arch's second read. He went ahead and looked first for Cook, and he found him open. Baxter, 218 yards at halftime. So USC kicks a field goal. Oh, Baxter, what a run. How Baxter will not be a Sunday back, I do not know. Oh my gosh, what a run. In this game, if you go wide, you're going to have lanes. It's 31-10 Texas. They go to Wingo, and he gets big yardage. Oh, Baxter gets more than the first down. He is just gashing this USC defense. That is the end of the third quarter. Texas is averaging 17.5 yards per play. Wingo, touchdown, Texas from Arch Manning. So Texas wins convincingly against the USC Trojans. Baxter had 347 rushing yards on 23 carries and 2 touchdowns, including a 96-yard touchdown. So number 11, Jacksonville State, will face off versus Texas in the national championship game. This is for all the marbles. This is why Arch Manning returned to Texas to win a national championship. Wingo's wide open, and he picks up a Texas first down and more. Baxter goes wide, and he picks up big yardage. Nice blocking. So it's not Baxter, it's a sneak preview of what Texas fans will see next year in Gibson. Texas defense comes up big. Jacksonville State does not score. Niblet. Oh, if he could have made one move. He had one guy to beat, but that guy tackled him. Got to give him credit. Baxter just gashing the defensive line. There goes Baxter at the end. With 1:20 left in the first quarter, Texas is up 7-0. There you go, Texas fans. Welcome to next year. That's a second touchdown for Gibson. Jacksonville State scores a touchdown to make it 14-7. Straight up the middle, and they get a first down. Oh yeah. That was my second read, but he saw Cook get open. He had a step, and he threw it out there, and Cook came under it. Jacksonville State not giving up. They kick a field goal to make it 21-10. They got to Manning just in time. I thought I got rid of it. So 1:19 left before half. Oh, he's going to outrun them all. That is a Texas Longhorn touchdown. Wingo got some separation. Arch Manning saw it. Halftime, 28-10. Washington on the catch. He just doesn't have that top end speed, but he is a tight end. A huge pickup for the Longhorns. Texas is up by 18. Wingo. First down, Texas. Touchdown, Arch Manning, and the Texas Longhorns go up 34-10. Right there, huge gain. Baxter with a huge hole up the middle. It looks like Texas and Arch Manning are going to win the national championship. It's a little anticlimactic with it being Jacksonville State. But you got to give them credit. They were supposed to lose probably many of their games, and they won all year. Oh, Baxter, he's in for a touchdown. I don't mean to rub it in. Don't need to impress the pollsters anymore. Sorry about that, Jacksonville State head coach. Jacksonville State is not going quietly. They score again to make it 42-20. Oh my goodness, Baxter is gone. That's it, folks. The Texas Longhorns are your national champions. Arch Manning has led the Texas Longhorns not only to the national championship, but they have won the national championship for Texas Longhorns fans everywhere. 49-20 in a convincing win. So Arch Manning has a decision to make. He could leave as a junior and leave for the NFL, or we could wait a season, have him continue at the University of Texas and see if they can run it back, or could enter the transfer portal as we are living in the transfer portal days and see who all is out there and where he could go to win another championship, or just tempting. There's a lot of schools that are tempting. A&M was tempting. Tennessee's not tempting because Peyton went there. Alabama's tempting. Michigan is tempting. Nebraska is of interest. Rayola should be gone by now. I love me some Pitt. They're in bad shape. Penn State is the tricky one. It would be amazing to help bring them a championship. They've not seen one in a long time. And of course, Iowa. They run a pro-style offense. After much thought, Arch has decided to attend University of Alabama. Alabama ended the season at 5-7. It's a question if they will even be ranked in the top 25. Alabama is unranked. I have 3 open NIL slots, so I hope that those get filled. So Alabama is unranked. They play the number 15 ranked team in the nation. This is Arch's first game as an Alabama Crimson Tide. West Virginia, number 15. Alabama was 5-7 last year, so they hope for a huge turnaround. And the handoff, that picks up about 20 yards. The Basher, he's wide open. Touchdown, Alabama. So Arch continues where he left off. Oh, Arch on his second throw throws a touchdown pass. Oh yeah, that's completed. He's going. Go. 10-5 touchdown, Alabama. So the unranked Alabama is putting one on the 15th ranked Mountaineers. 20-7 now. Oh, interception. Not a good throw by Arch. West Virginia closes the lead to 20-17. Oh, go. 16 seconds left. Touchdown, Alabama. What a find by Arch Manning. Oh, there's a flag on the play. Please let it be interference. You will decline it. Thank you. Arch has 5 TDs and 300 yards passing. Pass to 7. He was wide open, and he's still going. Arch runs it in for his first rushing touchdown as a Crimson Tide. That puts Alabama up 40-24. The handoff to 20. Nobody's there. What blocking? He goes in for another Alabama touchdown. 48-30. West Virginia making it closer than it should be. Defense is a little suspect. 3rd and inches for Daniel Hill. And that'll be 4th and 2. So Alabama will probably not go for it. Alabama does get the ball back with 1:43 left though in the 4th quarter. Overrated is being chanted by the Alabama fans. That's what we like to hear. in Alabama. So Arch Manning has a successful day, to say the least. So Alabama fans are ecstatic. So it's week 1, and somehow Alabama has scheduled FCS Northwest, which will not help them in trying to get ranked. Receiver was wide open, 89. Looks like our tight end. Touchdown pass. Number 9, that's Jefferson. So 140 left, and the defense does a great job this time. Nice pass. Touchdown, Alabama. And that, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. Arch hits number 7, and he's gone, baby. 28-0 Alabama over FCS Northwest. Great 12-yard gain right there. Good catch by Lockwood, I think. Williams gets open. To Williams. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. Arch Manning with 5 TDs already. Tailback on the carry with the first down. Oh, 20's going. The 10, the 5. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. That's Hill, baby. 42-3, so FCS Northwest puts up some points. Is that even acceptable? To Ryan Williams. Another touchdown for Bama. 6 touchdowns for Arch Manning today. But what would you expect in this kind of game? 20 just gave a stiff arm, a forearm, and he went all the way for a touchdown. He needs to check on that poor guy. Oh, look at that guy fly. Alabama finishes off the FCS school 56-3. Behind Arch Manning's 6 touchdown passes. We have a big game this week against number 17 Ohio State. They lost a game, so they fell in the standings. So they are still in the top 25, and we're still on the outside looking in. We do have some skill points that we can upgrade Arch's awareness, play action, and carrying with. So his awareness goes up 4, play action goes up 2, and carrying goes up 3. And then next we'll try to finish off throwing power. So no easy game. We play at Ohio State, and they are just as good as we are. Even though this is not an SEC game, it will most definitely be like we are playing an SEC school. Ohio State is loaded. Looks like Ohio State did not score. Ryan Williams with the catch. Williams again with a big catch. Man, the speed at wide receiver for Alabama, it is amazing. But I would have to say even faster than Texas. Number 17 runs through for Alabama, first down. What a catch. Arch Manning gets him to the line, and on a jet touch pass, gets into the end zone. There's Ryan Williams. Ohio State ties it up at 7. Oh, this is going to be a nice run. 17. He picks up big yards for Alabama. Nice pass. Basher. Right there. I couldn't see who I was throwing to. It was Jefferson. Right there, wide open. Is that Ryan Williams? It is. Arch put it right there. Whoa, what a move. Did you see that? That was Michael Jackson-esque in the 80s. So 21-7, Alabama still has a chance to maybe score again before half. No. Interception. So Ohio State gets a field goal out of it. That's on me. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Alabama up 21-10 over Ohio State. What a hesitation move, and what a run. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. And that, my folks, is just another Alabama touchdown. 28-17, Ohio State keeping it close. Wow, what a play. That was a great catch. The tight end is wide open on a jet touch pass. Is that Ryan Williams? I believe it is. Rock that baby. That's 4 touchdown passes with 3:55 left in the fourth. And they shut down the rushing attack. On the draw, Ohio State was not ready for it, and they picked up a huge chunk of yardage. Alabama up by 11 points, so it's a 2-possession game. Is that Daniel Hill? He just ran it in for a touchdown to put Alabama up 42-24. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in this game. And that is yet another Alabama touchdown. We're not ready to kneel this out. We need the love of the pollsters. I know there's been some questions about why Arch Manning would transfer to Alabama his senior year. He grew up admiring Alabama and wanted to bring them back to the top. And they still have us as not ranked. And Jacksonville State is 1-1 and they are 19th. Alabama is 26th in the coaches poll. One more victory over top 25 team in Jacksonville State, and we will be ranked. There's no doubt in my mind. So believe it or not, the unranked Alabama Crimson Tide will face yet another ranked team today. Adams on the reception. That's Dasher and Dancer and Prancer. Alabama up 7-0 over Jacksonville State. Ryan Williams takes it, and he is gone, folks. 10-5 touchdown. That will pick up an Alabama first down. Alabama's just able to run at will. Tight end is wide open, and Arch hits him for another Alabama touchdown. The deep pass to the tight end. Can he go all the way? And he does. Is that Lockwood again? It is. Go to old reliable, the tight end. Great job by Arch to let him come through. Let the other wide receivers clear out. Basher on the catch and the dive in the end zone for yet another Alabama touchdown. 35-7 is your score. Arch Manning with 5 touchdown passes. Nice grab by Lockwood. Lockwood, touchdown. We'll see if that's enough for the pollsters. 42-14, Jacksonville State puts up some points. Number 17 is going all the way for another Crimson Tide touchdown. Touchdown, Alabama. Sorry, Gamecocks. Arch Manning finishes with 444 yards passing and 7 touchdown passes. Arch Manning second in the Heisman voting. See what the media says. The media says 19. Gets us in the teens. Every win from here should project us up. Let's see the coaches poll. 17, a little bit higher. So Arch Manning was second. He has fallen out of the top 5. Number 14, Alabama will face Texas A&M. Alabama comes into this game ranked 14th after being unranked as the season started. Play 4-1 Texas A&M. Little RPO and a big run by 17. He's gone, folks. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. 7-0 Alabama leading Texas A&M in the first quarter. Nice move by 20. Oh, he could be gone. 10-5 touchdown Alabama. Oh, what a throw. I didn't mean to throw it off my back foot, but I did. 21-0 Alabama with 3:37 left in the second quarter. 17 gets loose again. Riley. Mid-screen to the tight end. Nice job. So Alabama's about to go up 28-0. Oh, touchdown, baby. Threw it a little bit behind him. That, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. 35-3 at halftime. Oh, What a move by Riley. That's a touchdown. Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. That's the game. That's probably Arch's lowest throwing yardage total of his career. Kevin Riley, 7 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Arch, 9 of 10, 144 yards passing, 3 TDs, no interceptions. So it's the number 14 Ole Miss Rebels coming into Tuscaloosa to face the number 8 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. So Alabama will start with the ball. Number 17 with a huge run for Alabama to Hamilton. In for an Alabama touchdown. 6-0 Crimson Tide. So the score remains 7-0 on the money. The blitz came. Arch just got rid of it just in time. Touchdown Alabama. 14-6. Touchdown Alabama. Arch Manning hits maybe his go-to receiver, Jefferson. 21-13 now. Nice throw. Nice catch too. Jefferson. Touchdown Crimson Tide. And that, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. 28-13 at half. Arch goes deep. On the money, baby, for another Alabama touchdown. Jefferson on the wide receiver screen. Basher is wide open. That's right, baby. Into the third quarter. Alabama up 42-13. Jefferson on the catch. Pass to the tight end. Is that Lockwood? Lock it in. Another Alabama touchdown. 49-16. This game is seemingly over. That Hill, he breaks free. Is he gonna score another Alabama touchdown? He does. That's for the pollsters that had us ranked outside the top 25. Oh, that, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. Arch, your player of the game. Daniel Hill, 7 carries, 137 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kevin Riley, 5 carries, 82 yards. And Basher, 8 receptions, 136 yards, and a TD. Well, the number 15 Texas, where Arch Manning played last year and won a national championship, will be facing the number 6 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide today. Here goes Arch. Pass to Ryan Williams. He gets loose. No one's going to catch him, folks. Oh, that was so close. Pass to Hamilton for an Alabama touchdown. Alabama goes up 6-0. Scores 7-3 Alabama in the second quarter. Basher, he gets an Alabama first down. Pass to the tight end. Is that Lockwood? Basher around the corner down to the 14-yard line, it looks like. Touchdown Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. Well, it's 14-10 now. Texas matches Alabama's touchdown with their own. Basher, he's gone, folks. That is another Alabama touchdown. 21-10 at halftime. Oh my goodness. He could go all the way, and he does. I love going wide on those. 28-10 with Arch goes long. That, my folks, is a long touchdown to Jefferson. Score now 35-10. Alabama over number 15 Texas. Lockwood with the catch. Oh, he's gone, folks. Pollsters, take notice. We're beating a fellow SEC team, the national champs, 41-10. Alabama takes down Texas 49-17. Arch is the player of the game, 290 passing yards and 5 TDs. So Mississippi State comes into Tuscaloosa to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. Oh, that's a touchdown, baby. To Williams, first down. Oh, right there. That Jefferson? It is Amari Jefferson. So it's 14-7 Alabama. Nice throw. Nice catch. wide open. Alabama touchdown. That's Basher. Oh no, that's Hamilton. Sorry. It's 21-7 with 32 seconds left. Oh, Williams is wide open. Arch just threw that like a Patrick Mahomes. 28-10. Alabama up. Tight end catches it for an Alabama first down. Oh, what a run. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. Arch with the rushing touchdown. He takes it in to make the score 41-10. Jefferson over the middle. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. Jefferson gets away for a touchdown. He could have gone down, but he didn't. He kept fighting. 56-17 is your final. Arch Manning with 7 touchdown passes today. No NIL deals coming my way for some reason. Still have the Coke Zero deal. But that's it. The ones that have come are pretty bad. So, well, looky here. Arch Manning has entered the Heisman discussion. Comes in at 3rd. See the CFB top 25. Has Alabama at 3rd. Arch Manning so far has 42 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Riley and Hill looking to both be 1,000-yard rushers this year. Man, that's a solid 4 right there. So Alabama will go to Kentucky. The handoff. Oh my gosh, is he going all the way? Is that an Alabama touchdown? It is. That's Hill, baby. That's Jefferson. Nice job to make it 13-3. Alabama 14-10. So Kentucky scores a touchdown. Alabama's defense. Williams gets his speed to get around the corner. Basher beats his man. And that, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. Kentucky with a field goal. Touchdown to Flavors, the 6th-string tight end. 23 seconds left in the half. Oh, Arch threw it a little bit behind him. That's on me. Touchdown, Crimson Tide, 33-13. Oh, he's gone. Ryan Williams, baby, 41-13. Touchdown, Alabama. Ryan Williams. Alabama up 48-13. Is that Amari Jefferson? I believe it is. Arch Manning with 7 touchdown passes today. And he slips away for yet another Alabama touchdown. So that's it, folks. 62-13. Player of the game. Arch Manning, 395 yards passing, 7 TDs. Williams, 264 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Let's upgrade that power. So he goes from throw power of 94 to 98, strength from 90 to 94. Arch Manning has moved up from 3rd to 2nd. This 395 yards passing and 7 passing touchdowns against Kentucky. So Alabama has to go down to the swamp where they used to play great football, national championship football. The years have been tough on them. The tight end, Lockwood, interception, bad throw. That's all me. Basher, so short of the goal line. Florida goes up 7-3. Yes. Is that Hamilton? He beat his man. Press coverage. 10-7. Alabama at half. Nice move by Riley. Touchdown, Alabama. Good look by Arch Manning. The tight end is wide open. Go. So the tight end Lockwood puts up some big yards. Touchdown, Alabama, 24-14. Arch runs behind his lineman and gets a first down. That was a gutsy call by the Alabama head coach. Basher in for a touchdown. Alabama Crimson Tide, baby. Roll Tide. So they put an exclamation point on this victory. Gotta do this for the pollsters. And they get in for another Alabama touchdown. Today's a tough day for me, guys. It is the anniversary of my father's passing. I know he'd want me playing college football, spending time with my family. That's what I'll be doing. That's it. 38-14. Alabama puts up 28 points in the second half. Arch Manning, the player of the game, threw a critical pick. Terrible on my part. We'll advance a week to see where the Heisman voting is and that they have us at 2. Arch stays at 2 in the Heisman voting. The INT didn't help. The Iron Bowl. Alabama is favored, but Auburn is ranked along with Alabama, so you never know what can happen in the Iron Bowl. To Williams, gets past the 50-yard line. To Lockwood, tight end, first down. Touchdown, Alabama. What a throw by Arch to Jefferson. Oh, yeah, they get it to 13. He gets past midfield. Adams. All right, they're going to try to find Williams right here for an Alabama first down and more. Touchdown, Alabama. Double slant. Williams gets past the 50-yard line. Williams. Oh, no, that's Jefferson. No, that's Williams, baby. 21-0, Alabama. Williams with the catch. Jefferson with the catch and the first down. He's in for a touchdown. That's Williams again. So Alabama scores just before half. 57 seconds left, though, and 3 timeouts for Auburn. It looks like they took it back. No touchdown. Oh, pick by Arch. That's me. Oh, yeah. He's got Williams again on a deep route for an Alabama touchdown. 28-10 at half. Oh, yeah. That's gone. He's gone, baby. 13. You don't see him in the mix that much. 35-17 now. Oh, yeah. No safety back there. You can't have a linebacker cover him. That's Ryan Williams, baby. Arch with 5 TDs and 460 yards. Across the middle, Lockwood with a great catch. Nice catch by Lockwood, the tight end. Touchdown, Alabama. That is Ryan Williams again. 49-17, Alabama in full control. Daniel Hill takes it for a huge gain. 2-minute timeout. Oh, and Riley's gone. Goes to the outside, which I love. The Iron Bowl goes to the Alabama Crimson Tide. 56-24. Ryan Williams, 10 catches, 325 yards, and 4 TDs. This is the SEC championship game. This means a lot. Georgia up 7-0. I don't know what he was doing there, but he got the ball where he needed to get it. Arch sees him, press coverage. He beat that. Still 7-7 at near the end of the first quarter. Double slant. Jefferson almost scores. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. Jefferson wide open, over the middle. Touchdown, Alabama. Right over the middle. He's gone, baby. It's that Basher. 41. Basher again. Touchdown, Alabama. Williams just over the middle, and he gets a first down. Ryan Williams keeps going over the middle. There's no defense for that. That is just another Alabama touchdown, 42-14. Manning has 6 touchdown passes on the day. Touchdown, Ryan Williams. Press coverage yet again. So it's 49-17. Alabama's defense has played well. Riley runs wide and he gets a huge gain. Touchdown, Alabama. There he is again, folks. Mr. Ryan Williams. If that's not a Heisman performance, 8 touchdowns, I don't know what is. Touchdown, Alabama. That's for the pollsters, just in case they think Alabama is not the #1 seed. So Alabama convincingly wins the SEC championship 63-17 behind Arch Manning and his 8 touchdowns. Arch Manning, player of the year, 72 TDs. Arch Manning brings home the Heisman Trophy. Number 9, Oregon Ducks will play Alabama. So Georgia upset Tennessee. They'll play TCU. Oregon in a mild upset of NC State will play us. Nebraska beats K-State. They will play Clemson. Louisville beats Fresno State, and they will play USC. We are in the Elite 8. They have to play Oregon, who is underrated, and then probably Georgia. To the tight end, he's wide open. Pass complete to Williams. Play action, middle screen, does nothing. Alabama kicks the field goal, and their defense stops Oregon again. Give it back to Alabama. Hopefully this time Alabama can score a touchdown. Jefferson comes up with the reception. So that's the end of the first quarter with the score: Alabama 3, Oregon 0. Alabama's defense has been shockingly good. Good move by Jefferson. Ryan Williams with the touchdown catch. Alabama's going to go up 10-0 on Oregon early in the second quarter. So 10-7 as Oregon scores the touchdown. Oh, that's a pick. Not a good throw by Arch. So Oregon goes up 14-10 to Ryan Williams. Is he going to beat everybody? He is. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. So Alabama's going to go back up on Oregon 17-14. It's 21-17. So Oregon scores another touchdown before half. Oh, that's behind his receiver. But Williams catches it and is still able to get into the end zone. So Alabama up at halftime 24-21, and they get the ball to start the second half. Oh, that's Basher. Touchdown. Ooh, I almost said Sooners. Touchdown, Alabama. So Alabama's defense stands strong. Basher again. Nice quarterback draw. Arch picks up 7 yards. You don't see him run that much. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. So into the third quarter, Alabama's defense comes up huge. Jet touch pass. Easy peasy for Alabama. The Heisman Trophy winner, Arch Manning, is attempting to lead Alabama over Oregon to make it into basically what is the Final Four. So Alabama will move on. Arch Manning, player of the game. So we do, in fact, have to play Georgia again. The flanker dig. He was wide open. That's all we needed on this drive right there is number 13. Alabama makes a stop. Lockwood, the tight end, with the catch and the touchdown. 14-7 now. And there goes Adams. What a catch and run. Pass out to the halfback. He gets down to about the 4-yard line. Touchdown on the jet pass. Alabama goes back up by 14. Ball at the half-yard line. 2:10 left on the toss. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. 28-14. Georgia puts some points up. Oh, Arch. That's exactly what he did. He put some arch into it. So Alabama will go in with a 14-point lead. They go for it on 4th down. Gutsy call, but it works. That is a touchdown. Someone lost track of Ryan Williams somehow, some way. Ryan Williams has to wait on that one, but he's so fast. He goes all the way for yet another Alabama touchdown. So Alabama is now up by 2 touchdowns. What a run. That is going to be another Alabama touchdown. It's 56-42. Arch Manning's just going to kneel this out. And this is the game, folks. Alabama has not only won the Cotton Bowl over Georgia, but they are going to play in the national championship game versus USC. This has been a gauntlet. USC is a 90 overall. Nice pass out to the halfback. Riley catches it and gets down to about the 10-yard line. Right there to Williams. Put it over that safety's head. Jefferson on the touchdown catch. Alabama's defense stops USC from scoring. Durante Basher with a huge gain. He had to come back again a little bit. I think he's just too fast. So it's 14-0 right now. Touchdown, baby. You press. We're going to go deep. It's 21-14. So USC with 2 touchdowns before Alabama could even touch the ball. Williams is wide open. Touchdown, Alabama. There he is again, the kid. Basher with the touchdown catch. So Alabama up by 3 touchdowns at half. Now they have the ball at USC's 7-yard line. And that, my friends, is just another Alabama touchdown. That is going to be a touchdown, folks. Alabama is about to go up 49-14. Hill in the backfield. And Hill busts it up the middle. No one's going to catch him, folks. He's gone for another Alabama touchdown. So that's it, folks. Alabama Crimson Tide are your national champs, led by Arch Manning. His 3rd school in 4 years. He wins the Heisman Trophy this year and wins his 2nd national championship. There's Ryan Williams, his partner in crime this year. So that's the end of Arch Manning's career. We will continue to see if we can put him into Madden and make a career out of it for him. Cleveland Browns have been one of the worst teams in the NFL over many years. Even though they wouldn't publicly say this, they almost seem to be building their team around the hopes of drafting Arch Manning. Take, for instance, the drafting of Emeka Egbuka, a high 1st-round pick who's now a 92 overall 25-year-old. The trading for Malik Neighbors, a 90 overall 25-year-old. The drafting of a high pick in left tackle Edward Brewer, who is a superstar left tackle. The acquisition of Ben Rosenberg, right guard, 85 overall 24-year-old. And the acquisition of Peter Skoronski. That's why it was not a surprise when Cleveland in 2028, which is the year we're in right now, drafted Arch Manning. Now we'll see if he can save this franchise. So the Cleveland Browns went 8-9 in Arch Manning's first season as the quarterback. They were very close to making the playoffs in a weak AFC North. Let's take a look at the stats for the season. Arch had 3,700 yards passing, 32 TDs, 8 picks. Rushing didn't help that much. Manning actually ran 70 times for 4.5 yards per carry and 2 TDs. The slot receiver for Cleveland, Matthew Kemp, had 76 catches for 995 yards and 9 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors, 74 catches, 866 yards, 7 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka had 63 catches, 853 yards, and 7 TDs. Kind of funny. Quinn Ewers was 7th in voting for the league MVP. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Arch Manning. So I have it on where the CPU will control everything for the Browns. We'll just advance to the Super Bowl. I may meet you guys at free agency. I believe the Browns have a lot of draft picks this year, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with them. It looks like they used every single one of them. Sammy Hicks, 78 overall wide receiver. Left outside linebacker, 73. Halfback and an 80. Left tackle, 73. Strong safety, which we needed. We didn't have one on the roster. 78 overall left guard. We'll send to midseason. See where Cleveland stands. The Cleveland Browns are 4-3 right now. I don't know what's going on because he has got an offense 11-6, and they do make the playoffs. So they make it as a 6th seed. They play the 3rd seed, the Houston Texans. Egbuka, the former 1st overall pick, and Cleveland's #1 wide receiver and one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Play action. Gets it to his 1st round pick this year, #2 overall, if I remember right. Egbuka. Nice deep move. Hicks, the rookie. Arch Manning finds him close to the end zone, and he takes a step or two and gets in for a Cleveland Browns touchdown. Oh, yes, baby. Arch found him wide open. Egbuka beat his coverage. That's Egbuka again. They put one man on him. One man. Touchdown, baby. Malik Neighbors is wide open. Egbuka holds on after being lit up. You go back to Egbuka. You want to cover him with one guy, he's going to come across. So the Cleveland Browns go into Baltimore and upset the Baltimore Ravens 42-27 behind Arch Manning and his aerial assault, 446 yards, 6 touchdowns. So Cleveland has made it into the AFC Championship game versus the Denver Broncos. The winner of that game will face Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints. I will probably sim this since I'm not going to play every game that Arch plays and see if they win the game. And if they win the game, I will probably play the Super Bowl. It looks like they did lose 31-21. That's a tough pill to swallow. They did come in as a 6th seed, so they weren't expected to win the Super Bowl. So tough loss for Arch, but he loses in the AFC Championship game. The Browns have $73 million in cap room, so hopefully they will go out and get some defensive players. So Arch Manning this year threw for over 4,500 yards passing, 48 TDs, 8 interceptions, 23 sacks. Aaron did a little bit better this year. He got more carries, but he had 901 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. Arch Manning ran for 233 yards and 4 touchdowns. So the rookie, Sammy Hicks, had 88 catches for 1,099 yards and 13 touchdowns. I would say he was the rookie of the year. I'm just going out on a limb there. Egbuka, 85 catches, 1,068 yards this year, and 8 touchdown catches. Malik Neighbors as the number 2, 91 catches, 947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Let's see defensively what they need. So they have Ivan Pace Jr. at middle linebacker. He had 107 tackles this year, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, a pick. Denzel Ward is getting pretty old, but he still had 2 picks and 85 tackles. Greg Newsome, who is the number 1 corner now over Denzel Ward, he had 78 tackles and 3 picks. Deion Jeffries, a young defensive tackle for the Browns, had 14 tackles for loss, and Jeffries had 9 sacks. All right, guys, we'll go to season 3 and see if Arch can win a Super Bowl. So we are in season 3 of Arch Manning's career. It looks like he's led them to a 13-4 record. It looks like they're first place in the AFC, so they will get a bye. Let's go ahead and look at the stats for the year. Arch Manning, league MVP, and Quinn Ewers came in at second. How fitting. Stefanski, the Browns coach, came in as the second best coach of the year. Offensive player of the year, Arch Manning. He threw 57 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions. That is amazing. Arch even had 302 yards rushing, 4.9 yards per carry, and 3 TDs, 111 catches, 1,314 yards, 18 touchdowns. The young Tyler Morse and Arch Manning, both in their third years, have a connection. Egbuka, one of the top receivers in the NFL, had 92 catches, 1,127 yards, and 7 TDs. Sammy Hicks, 83 catches, 1,055 yards, and 19 touchdowns. And then Malik Neighbors, 89 catches, 981 yards, 9 touchdown receptions. Owusu Koromoa had 118 tackles. Matabuke, who Cleveland must have picked up in free agency from Baltimore in the offseason, so that was a great pickup. Mike Hall Jr. with 10 tackles for loss, and DJ Watt with 10 tackles for loss. Another free agent pickup, Matabuke, 9 sacks. TJ Watt, 7.5. 2 picks for Newsome, Wilkins, and Parsons. Bengals are the lowest seeded team to make it in as the 7th seed. They upset the number 2 Broncos 30-20. So they will have to go to Cleveland. Since we're just really kind of watching the career of Arch Manning, I won't play most of the games, but if he does get into the Super Bowl, I might jump in and play a few plays. And they win. They beat the Bengals just barely, 34-31. So the Raiders upset the Cleveland Browns 21-19 in the AFC Championship game. So back-to-back AFC losses for Arch Manning and the Cleveland Browns. This year they were favored though. The Lions have won the Super Bowl, beat the Raiders 41-21. Here's the draft recap. So a tight end was taken with the 30th pick overall. He's a 75. The rest of the draft was not good. So Cleveland has a banner year. They go 15-2. Let's view the playoff bracket. They, of course, finish first in the AFC. We will go ahead and look at any awards. Arch Manning was the MVP again. Stefanski was Coach of the Year. Arch Manning, Offensive Player of the Year. Arch Manning was 13 yards away from 5,000 yards passing. He threw for 52 touchdowns and 1 interception. Was only sacked 24 times. Heron had 1,068 yards, 7 touchdowns. Morse, 98 catches, 1,278 and 9. Neighbors, 102, 1,143 and 13. Hicks, 98, 1,121 and 18. Egbuka 79, 10, 14, and 7. And I suspect that they're just double teaming Egbuka since he's the #1 receiver. 109 tackles from Ivan Pace Jr., middle linebacker. Tyrone Wilkins, strong safety with 100 tackles. 15 tackles for loss from Matabuke. 11 from Craig Albert. Mike Hall Jr., the veteran, had 12.5 sacks. Matabuke, 12. Tyrone Wilkins and our free safety, Trevor Harold, both had 3. The Browns play the Chargers. They're the 4th seed. All right, let's sim through. So Cleveland wins that over the Los Angeles Chargers, 31-17. They will face the #3 Patriots in the AFC Championship. So we'll advance through the AFC Championship game. And Cleveland loses again. No, they win. They're going to the Super Bowl. I don't know how I read that wrong. 24-21. So this will be Arch's first Super Bowl.
First play is to the air. Finds him over the middle. Now looking to throw.
Alright, Luka catches that. A tight end. Oh, that was a touchdown. Hicks, touchdown, baby. Arch saw an opening and he gunned it in there to Sammy Hicks.
2nd and 10 now. Dialing up a receiver screen.
The slot screen, if that weren't for Hicks. And there's Hicks again.
Still sticking with the passing game.
Neighbors with the catch and the first down.
Throwing from the gun here.
Manning saw Hicks take a little bit different route than he was supposed to. And he saw him wide open and he hit him. Hey, Cooper, baby. And it's Malik Neighbors.
Shotgun snap, looking to throw.
And Buka makes sure to get the first down.
Quick touch pass to the receiver. Has some space inside the 35.
There goes Buka on the jet touch pass. Touchdown, Browns.
Dropping back to throw. He lets one fly deep downfield.
Oh, great throw and great catch.
Shotgun snap, looking to throw.
Hey, Buka. 45-24. And that's how it'll end, folks. Arch Manning, 427 yards and 6 TDs. Egbuka, 224 yards and 3 TDs. He'll be mad he wasn't the MVP of the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns have finished season 5 of Arch Manning's career. Looks like Miami is the #1 seed. Cleveland finished with an 11-6 record, I believe. So let's sim through the divisional championship. And Cleveland beats the Bengals 21-16. So they move on, play the Indianapolis Colts in the divisional game. Colts are the 2 seed, and it looks like Cleveland has won. So they actually beat the Colts 28-27, and they will play the #1 seed, the Miami Dolphins, in the AFC Championship game, while the Philadelphia Eagles play Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFC Championship game. Arch Manning was the MVP again. Was that 3 years in a row? Arch Manning, the Offensive Player of the Year. I believe that is 3 years in a row. So Arch finally gets over that 5,000 mark with 5,174 yards, 54 TDs, 5 interceptions, only 25 sacks. Aaron, 1,062 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and 17 touchdowns. Morse, 113 catches, 1,384 yards, 13 TDs. Malik Neighbors stepped up big this year as the third receiver, 99 catches, 1,172 yards, and 15 TDs. Egbuka had 87 catches for 1,145 yards and 10 TDs. And Sammy Hicks, 86 catches, 981 yards, and 11 TD. Pace with 112 tackles. Hall Jr. and Craig Albert with 13 tackles for loss. Hall Jr. with 9.5 sacks. Jeffries with 7 sacks. So we will advance through the AFC Championship. If they do win the AFC Championship, then I will play some of the Super Bowl. Cleveland has made it to the Super Bowl, so they will play the Philadelphia Eagles.
Start this drive in the air. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. Well, this is taken in.
Hicks. Manning to Hicks. For 6.
Stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone,
A pass to Egbuka for another Cleveland touchdown. For Cleveland fans, hopefully their defense shows up today. And they did with an interception.
They'll set up to throw. And he will find his man.
Oh, nice job by Morse.
could have a first and goal.
Touchdown Hicks.
Effort there.
Touchdown Browns.
Second touch. On play action, they'll throw.
Egbuka with the catch and the block.
Now he's
Can he go all the way?
He may go. And he'll take
He did it. The Cleveland Browns score another touchdown to go up 2 scores.
They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a
Neighbors.
in a lot of ways because you know that both
Oh, he's gone, folks.
There he goes. And all the way in. Touchdown.
Touchdown Malik Neighbors from Arch Manning. It's 35-24 as Philly has scored a touchdown.
It's
Morse
a short one here, complete to his tight end. And they're going to have this across midfield.
picks up huge yards. Arch already has 359 yards passing and 5 TDs.
They'll look to throw here. They'll find the open man. That's complete.
Finds Hicks.
He's gonna have
locked in on offense.
over the middle, taken in by Neighbors.
First down Cleveland.
Back to throw. That's complete. It's Neighbors.
He's taken down at
the 3.
Philly 3.
The play action fake. They'll look to throw.
Oh, Morse is lit up, but he holds on to the ball.
But sometimes they get locked into such a groove and such a connection.
Great
it doesn't
pass
matter
to
how many guys
Hicks.
are in his-
They'll look to throw. Quick hitter here.
Neighbors. So close to getting in.
Looking to throw.
Egbuka from Arch Manning. Touchdown Browns. 52-31 is your score. And that is your final, folks. Cleveland wins back-to-back Super Bowls. They take down the mighty Philadelphia Eagles. Cleveland, Ohio, that is 2 championships for you. 2 in a row. Put that statue of Arch up right next to LeBron. Arch 30 of 35, 477 yards, 7 TDs, and no picks. Morse with 8 catches, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. Hicks, 8 catches, 148 and 2. Egbuka 6 catches, 108 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Neighbors 6 catches, 124 yards and 1 touchdown. So in Arch's 6th season, Cleveland has clinched the #1 spot in the playoffs along with the Atlanta Falcons on the NFC side. So they will get a bye. Arch Manning, I believe, is the 3-time MVP. I mean, back to back to back. Arch Manning with 5,341 yards passing, 56 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Aaron had exactly 1,000 yards rushing, 4.4 yards per carry, and 7 TDs. Arch had 289 yards rushing and 5 TDs. Malik Neighbors had 96 catches, 1,322 yards, and 15 TDs. Tyler Morse, our tight end, had 102 catches for 1,167 yards and 12 TDs. Egbuka had 94 catches, 6 touchdowns. And Hicks with 79 catches, 1,024, and 12 TDs. And then Heron actually had 7 TD catches. On defense, Ivan Pace had 112 tackles. Albert had 12 tackles for loss. Hall Jr. had 11. Jeffries had 7 sacks. Jeffries had 10. Hall Jr. had 7.5. Terrence Ingram had 4.5. So the Browns had a 15-2 record. So we'll advance a week to see who they play. They have $118 million in cap space. So it'll be interesting to see if they use any of that this offseason. So Tennessee beats Denver 34-7, and Cleveland will play them. And as usual, we will sim through these games, and if they make it to the Super Bowl, we'll probably jump in and play quite a bit of that Super Bowl. So here we go to advance week. It looks like Cleveland won 28-26. So Cleveland will face the number 2 seed. They've made it to the AFC Championship game. Ooh, Cleveland is upset 14-7. I guess it's a mild upset, but they do not get a chance to three-peat as the Indianapolis Colts upset the Browns 14-7. The offense seemingly did nothing in that game. So it'll be the Colts and the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Looks like Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts was the MVP, and they beat the Falcons 24-17 to win the 2033 Super Bowl. So the Browns seemingly spent nothing as they have $155 million still in cap space. Ooh, the Steelers in our division picked up Aiden Hutchinson as a 95 overall. He's 34 years old now, but still a 95 overall. And that should be someone to be feared. I believe the Browns are saving some of that 155, I would suspect, to re-sign Arch Manning, but it's out of my control. Here's a quick draft recap. Curtis Felton, the first round pick, while the Browns are down to an 85 on defense. So the Cleveland Browns finish Arch Manning's 7th season, 13-4. Let's view the playoff bracket. So they are the number 1 seed again. As we saw, they didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Arch Manning does win the MVP, so he wins it for the 3rd time in 4 years. So Arch Manning threw for 5,261 yards, had 49 TDs, and 8 interceptions. Heron may have hit the cliff. He had 805 yards rushing at 3.5 yards per carry. Arch Manning 305 yards rushing, 4.4 yards per carry. Morse 112 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 TDs. Neighbors 103, 1,300, 18 TDs. Egbuka 98 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdown catches. Hicks 88 catches, 1,000 yards, 11 TDs. 104 for our new middle linebacker. I guess Ivan Pace is no longer our starting middle linebacker. And Nick Reynolds had 10 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. Jeffries and Hall lead in sacks. Pittman had 7 sacks. Reynolds had 3 INTs. Wilkins had 2. This will be the last year before Cleveland has to pony up for Arch Manning, I believe, if they want to keep him. So the number 7 seed upsets number 2 seed Dolphins 27-24. So they will actually play Cleveland, and Cleveland wins, it looks like. Yes, 42-21. They will again in the AFC Championship face the Indianapolis Colts. We will advance week, and Cleveland beats Indianapolis 34-20 to make it to the Super Bowl. So it'll be the number 1 seed Atlanta Falcons versus the number 1 seed Cleveland Browns in the Super Bowl. This will be Arch's chance to win his 3rd Super Bowl, all with Cleveland.
They go play action here on 1st down.
Hicks is open. That was not Arch's first read, but he saw him open over the middle and he
Picks up
threw
the
it
first
deep
down.
to
I think when they look
Hicks.
at their back to throw. That one
Malik
taken in by
Neighbors.
Again, he'll drop to throw. This is caught.
Touchdown, Morse. Arch to Morse.
Go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove
Morse
right now.
catches it and goes out of bounds. There's a flag on the play.
Something short, shallow, going through defenders.
Oh, Ibuka is wide open, and he scores the second Cleveland touchdown. Put them up 13-7.
That also found the end zone. Now they want to do something.
Ibuka wide open.
Goes right side.
You cannot contain him. You got to double him up.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw.
Oh, Hicks. He's gone, baby. You got speed.
Inside the 20. And he'll take it into the end zone.
Cleveland goes up
Touchdown.
27-14, baby.
They'll set up a throw.
Oh, Ibuka. The safety came in. Ibuka was left free one-on-one with the cornerback.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. That's complete. It's Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors.
He'll look to throw. Quick hitter here. It's
Ibuka
complete.
gets
And the
just
Browns are
enough
gonna
for
have
the
a
first
first and
down.
goal.
Hitting this game, didn't it? For them to get downfield that quickly. And now for
Touchdown, Sammy Hicks.
Great play there.
And Cleveland will win
Partner, under the
its
lights in
third
primetime, this
Super
offense, they
Bowl
gave the
in
nation
4
quite a show,
years.
putting up that many points to
56-31,
come.
Arch Manning
I
with
think it's as
his
simple as
third
this.
Super
Some
Bowl.
play-
Arch Manning was just too much today. 6 touchdowns, 531 yards passing. So the Cleveland Browns just won their third Super Bowl in 4 years under the leadership of Arch Manning, and his contract came up, and before he hit free agency, it appears that Cleveland has given him a blockbuster contract. In 2035, he will get paid $89 million. In 2036, he'll get paid $92 million. 2037, $95 million. 2038, $98 million. 2039, $102 million. And then in 2040, $32 million. In 2041, $37 million. $170 million in total salary. An $89 million cap hit. Total bonus, $374 million. So that is quite an effort to keep Arch Manning in the fold, and they did it. One thing I wanted to, I guess, show you guys, if you didn't notice it, but Arch Manning's overall interest in re-signing with Cleveland was almost nil. He wanted a warm weather state. The head coach historic record was okay, but he wanted a no income tax state. But he was overwhelmed by the money, I suppose. But a little fascinating that he didn't go into free agency. But maybe when you're offered that much money, you just take it. So the Cleveland Browns should keep trucking along with the re-signing of their major players. Egbuka is 32 now. He's not the best receiver in the league. They let him go. He went to Tennessee. Malik Neighbors is gone. He's down to an 84. He went to the Raiders. Some huge losses. Mike Hall Jr. goes to the Patriots. So in Arch Manning's 8th season, even though they lost so many players to free agency, they still made the playoffs. Let's check out the playoff bracket. They are the 6th seed in the AFC. The Texans are the number 1 seed. These are the 2035 playoffs. Arch Manning was the MVP again. I believe that's the 4th time. Stephen Ward was the Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Browns. Arch Manning with close to 5,000 yards passing, 49 TDs, and 9 interceptions. Herron down to 3.6 yards per carry, and the only 2 wide receivers remaining from the championships are Sammy Hicks with 85 catches, 1,066 yards, and 9 TDs. Tyler Morse, 89 catches, 1,097 yards, 14 TDs. Sidney Tatum, a 3-year player out of Toledo, had a great season. 96 catches, as did Stephen Ward, the rookie, with 93 catches and 15 touchdown receptions. That's why he was the rookie of the year. Nick Reynolds, middle linebacker, had the most tackles with 106. Jeffries had the most tackles for loss with 12. He also was tied with Deion Pittman for sacks, 6.5. And Terrell Bussey and Curtis Felton had 4 interceptions and 3 respectively. So we'll just advance weeks like we normally do. Cleveland did upset Miami, the 3 seed, 30-18. Now they'll play the 4th seed, the Denver Broncos, and Cleveland just beats the Broncos 34-31 to advance to the AFC Championship against the 7th seed Patriots. And the Patriots, the 7th seed, beat Cleveland 24-12 to make it to the Super Bowl. So Cleveland is done. So we'll see you in 2036. In Arch Manning's 9th season, Cleveland makes the 2036 playoffs as the 2 seed. So Cleveland had an 11-6 record. Arch wins it again. I believe that's his 5th. Arch Manning with just over 4,600 yards passing, 55 TDs, and 6 interceptions this year. They had a new running back in there. His name is Reed Donaldson, 1 year out of Oregon. He had 856 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. Tyler Morse had 95 catches, 1,200 yards, 12 TDs. Sammy Hicks had 90 catches, 1,100 yards, and 14 TDs. And Morrison, I don't remember him from last year. He had 86 catches, but 19 touchdowns. And then Stephen Ward, the rookie of the year last year, had 71 catches and 8 touchdowns, 106 tackles from Nick Reynolds, 17.5 sacks from Deion Jeffries, 15 tackles for loss. How he was not the defensive player of the year, I do not know. Tyrone Wilkins, strong safety, with 3 interceptions. We'll advance through this game versus the Chiefs. Cleveland beats Kansas City 35-14, so they will play the 4th seed, the New England Patriots, and they lost by a field goal 24-21 to New England. So New England goes on to play in the AFC Championship game, and Cleveland goes home. The LA Rams defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 45-14. Quinn Ewers was the Super Bowl MVP. We are in Arch Manning's 10th season in the NFL. All of them with the Cleveland Browns, and they, in 2037, have made the playoffs again, this time as the number 2 seed. And so we'll check out some stats from the season. Arch Manning finishes 2nd in MVP voting to Anthony Richardson. Quinn Ewers, now with the Jets, was 6th. Arch Manning threw for over 4,800 yards this year, 44 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Reed Donaldson had 806 yards and 9 TDs. Morrison had 85 catches, 13 TDs. Sammy Hicks with 83 catches, 1,100 yards, and 13 TDs. Stephen Ward, 87 catches, 1,000 yards, and 6 TDs. And then Morse with 90 catches, 1,000 yards, and 10 TDs. So Cleveland and Arch Manning beat the New York Jets 37-28. They move on to play the 4th seed, the Chargers. They beat the Chargers 31-17. And now to face off in the AFC Championship versus the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson, the guy who beat out Arch Manning for the MVP of the league. And the Colts beat Arch and the Browns 36-35. Their dreams of going to another Super Bowl is done. So the 49ers win their 6th Super Bowl. Middle linebacker DeAndre Forbes was the MVP. In Arch's 11th season, they make the playoffs again this year as the 6th seed. Arch Manning is the MVP again. 4,828 yards passing, 53 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So a great season. Donaldson had 933 yards rushing. Stephen Ward had 97 catches for 11 touchdowns. Tyler Morris had 95 catches, 1,100 yards, and 12 TDs. Morrison, 99 catches, 15 TDs. Sammy Hicks, 82 catches, and 10 TDs. Beats the lights out of Cleveland, 31-13. Cleveland is out in the first round, so it'll be Green Bay and Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, and Green Bay wins their 5th Super Bowl. Wow, the salary cap went to a positive 25 million to a negative 58 million. That has to be in part Arch Manning's salary going up. Next season, Arch Manning's salary will go to $111 million per season. The good thing is that the year after it'll go down to 41 million. That is an epic contract. I haven't really shared the drafts with you guys, in part because the drafts have been so bad. Cleveland just really has not done a good job of finding guys in the first round, second or third round that were anywhere close to the 80s. We are in season 12, and the Cleveland Browns have made the playoffs once again, this time as the 4th seed. Let's check out the stats real quick. The Arch comes up just short. He finishes 2nd in the MVP voting, and Arch's stats in his 12th season: 4,751 yards, 47 TDs, and 11 interceptions. 911 yards rushing for Donaldson, 109 catches for Morrison, 101 for Tyler Morris. Hicks down to 86 catches but 18 touchdowns. Let's advance through this Titans game. And Cleveland beats Tennessee 28-26. So they advance to face the number 1 seed, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is 17-0, by the way. Wow. So Cleveland, in a huge upset of 17-0, Jacksonville beats them 33-21. They will play in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City, and Cleveland just loses a close one, 21-16 to KC. So KC will go to the Super Bowl, and Cleveland will miss out once again. So Green Bay beats Kansas City in the Super Bowl 35-18 for their 6th Super Bowl. So we are in Arch's 13th season, and for the first time and as long as I can remember, Cleveland has not made the playoffs. They finished 8-9 in 2040. Let's take a look at the league awards and the stats. So Arch Manning won the league MVP award, so that's like 6 for him or something. I've lost track. Arch had 4,984 yards passing, so he was 16 yards from 5,000, 51 TDs, 6 interceptions. Donaldson up to 4.4 yards per carry, 874 yards rushing. Morse with 99 receptions, 1,100 yards, 9 TDs. Sammy Hicks, 79 catches, 19 touchdowns. So Arch, in his 14th year, has led the Browns back to the playoffs as the number 1 seed. I believe a 14-3 record. He re-signed with the Browns to a 1-year contract worth about $40 million and led them to a first-round bye. The Seahawks are the number 1 seed in the NFC. So Cleveland will play the Las Vegas Raiders, who are the 7th seed. They upset the number 2 seed, Miami Dolphins. And the number 7th seed Raiders upset the number 1 seed, Browns, 31-28. So that's a crusher for Browns fans because they signed Arch for 1 more year. He led them to the 1st seed overall, and they were 3 points away from making the AFC Championship game. So in 2041, the Colts win their 5th Super Bowl over the LA Rams 31-28. Arch Manning was the MVP of the NFL, brought back by the Browns on a one-year contract and the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. And they lost early in the playoffs. They brought him back on a $74 million one-year contract. Wow, he really wants to end his career with the Cleveland Browns. Oh, Tyler Morris is down to an 81. He is a free agent, so he is no longer part of the Browns organization. So at 8-9, Arch has led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs somehow as the 4th seed. So let's sim through and see how they do. And they lose 35-31. Cleveland has $140 million in cap space available. So Arch is back. Let's check out if it's another 1-year contract. So it is another 1-year contract. So in the 2043 season, I believe Cleveland has made the playoffs once again at 9-8, and they are the 6th seed. So they will play the Pittsburgh Steelers. So as usual, we will sim through that game, and they lose yet again 23-16 to the Steelers. So Cleveland is out of the 2043 playoffs. Arch has been on a 1-year contract for 3 or so years now, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. He is down to a 94 overall. So the Seattle Seahawks beat the Miami Dolphins 28-14 to win their 2nd Super Bowl. Falcons quarterback was the MVP of the league. We'll check Arch's stats real quick. He had over 4,900 yards passing, 42 touchdowns, 11 INTs, so still looking good. Another bad draft for Cleveland, but they do pick a quarterback in the 2nd round, so that's of interest. So Cleveland finishes 8-9 in the 2044 season, and they do not make the playoffs. Let's look at Arch to see what he's down to this year. He's a 94 as a 37-year-old, so we'll see what Cleveland does if they release him or if they re-sign him. Pittsburgh wins the 2044 Super Bowl over Green Bay. Arch Manning with 4,200 yards passing, 34 TDs, 10 interceptions. One thing I noticed over the last 10 years or so is that Cleveland did not sign any free agents. I mean, none that I can remember. And if it was any, it was just a couple. So in the 2045 season, Cleveland finishes with their worst record since Arch took over as quarterback, and that is 5-12. So obviously they didn't make the playoffs, and we'll see what Arch and Cleveland decide on his future. The Chargers win their first Super Bowl and beat the Falcons 27-21. Arch with 4,400 yards passing, 42 TD passes, and 6 INTs. Arch Manning is 39 years old now. He is down to an 87 overall, and his contract for 2046 is a 1-year contract for $14 million. So in 2046, with Arch in steep decline, Cleveland makes it as a 4 seed in the playoffs. Let's check out his stats for the year. 4,800 yards, 49 touchdowns, and 14 INTs. His 18th year, it looks like. That is it for Cleveland for 2046 as the Raiders beat them 35-28. So Washington beats Buffalo 37-31. Arch is a 40-year-old. Is down to an 85 overall, signed about a $10 million contract. In the 2047 season, Cleveland finishes 8-9. We'll check out Arch's stats. Over 4,800 yards passing, 47 TDs. His INTs have picked up with 16. So the Tennessee Titans win their first Super Bowl over the 49ers 38-20 in 2047. So starting the 2048 season, Grant Pittman is an 84 overall, 27-year-old. Arch Manning has dropped to an 82. Is he not the starter anymore? He's a captain. He signed a $5 million contract. We will find out soon enough if Arch is still the starting quarterback. Wow. Pittman is the starting quarterback for the Browns. Arch is the backup. Let's see if Arch makes this his last season. 2048. Cleveland is the number 2 seed in the AFC. Grant Pittman is the quarterback, and he had a phenomenal season. He's a superstar dev trait. So even without Arch, McVay, or whatever his name is, did not help the Cleveland Browns advance. They were upset 24-17 by the Raiders. The Raiders beat the 49ers in the 2048 Super Bowl. Arch Manning has retired after 21 years with the Cleveland Browns. He was definitely loyal, and the Browns were loyal to him. Arch Manning, 21 years with the Cleveland Browns and 3 Super Bowls. Thank you, Arch Manning and the Cleveland Browns. Arch is the career leader in passing yards at 95,000 and passing TDs at 936. So Manning is not showing a Hall of Fame jacket yet, but I would say since he is number 1 overall in legacy score with 65,000, 10,000 more than Mahomes, that he is a surefire Hall of Famer. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. If you are not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I just appreciate you guys stopping by. Just know that you're made for a purpose. I appreciate every single one of you guys that watch these broadcasts or these videos, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, guys.